Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Friday morning. The Raptors lost, and the Raptors 905 lost. And it was just really bad, both games. Really, really bad. I'm kind of mad at the Raptors right now. And, I'm going to talk about it today. I'm going to talk about everything that I'm mad about. And I'm also going to kind of like go over some things. I feel like, the DMPs yesterday were very calculated. Like, I'm annoyed, honestly. Last time I saw RJ Barrett in an interview after the game on Monday, he was sniffling. He really was sniffling. And I thought he was sick at that time. I was like, RJ seemed like he's sick. He seems like he's sick. And well, he was, obviously, because he's been sick all week and he was sick and they decided not to let him play last night. They said before the game, RJ wanted to play, that he was like, I want to play, guys. I don't care. And the Raptors did not let him. The Raptors organization stopped RJ from taking the court last night. He may have been just having the sniffles. I mean, he had him on Monday. I remember. I saw it in his post-game interview. I was like, man, RJ's sick. I could hear him sniffling and sniffling between everything he was saying. I was like, man, RJ don't sound right. Well, and then it came around to last night. He's a DMP scratch right before the game. And I was right. Scotty came back. And then Davion was also a scratch. And the thing that bugged me about Davion being a scratch was that, he had not missed a game yet this season. That, was so much of a revolving door of people going in and out of our lineup. Having a couple players like Oshai, Jonathan, and Davion having appeared in every single game was actually a really good thing. And Mitchell finally missing a game yesterday kind of really annoyed me. He could have helped us a lot last night. He could have helped us a lot. And of course, Jakob, I feel like his groin injury. Okay, sure. You saw it on the court, but man, the man looking on the bench, he's wearing his hoodie, his Nike hoodie, and he doesn't look like he's hurt. He looks like he's fine. He's just sitting there. I don't think that I don't know. Maybe it's precaution. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's a calculated decision by the Raptors to short stack their team on purpose to make sure that maybe they might lose a game on purpose. I don't know. I don't think our team's trying to lose on purpose, but man, last night they sure did shit the bed in the last 5 minutes of the game and did not understand how to close the game out with try and win. They had a lead going in the fourth quarter. They needed to win this game, and they managed to lose it somehow. Something's fishy. Something's fishy. If it's an ethical tank, it's a calculated tank. If it's a tank by holding guys out of the lineup, well, what the fuck are we doing? This is dangerous, Masai. This is so dangerous. You can't do this because the losing feels bad. The losing becomes habit. And also, you worry about your young stars getting jaded about what's going on and not really having any allegiance or loyalty to your franchise because of this kind of bullshit. That's what I got to say about this. This week has been the worst week of the season so far this year for the Raptors. They've played 2 games. They've had so much time off, and this is the worst week of the season. You ask me if the beginning of the season when the schedule was so fucking hard that maybe that was the worst week of the season. No, because they played their asses off. They competed. They kicked some ass, and they almost won some games they had no business winning. But this week, they had 2 patsy fucking opponents, and they managed to lose both the fucking games in the fourth quarter. What the fuck is wrong with you, Raptors? I'm mad at y'all. Y'all are not trying. Y'all are not playing right, and if y'all are losing on purpose, shame on you. Shame on you. What the fuck are y'all doing with your lives? Maybe you don't need no time off. I think that's what the problem is. These guys got 3 days off. So much time off in this NBA Cup bullshit where they stretched all this stuff out that these guys got lackadaisical. They lost their edge. They lost their competitive edge that they played with for 2 months already this season. That they played with in games they had no business being close in and competing with the best teams in this league, and they lost their fucking competitive edge. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all have been playing, y'all been playing the best teams in this league and playing them well, and then you play two teams that you could beat this week at home, and you lose both of them. You're rested. You got Scotty back last night. You guys should have won against Chicago on Monday, and you should have damn for sure won last night too. Scotty, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, Scotty? Do you not have any personal pride? Do you want to let Cameron Johnson be the best player on the court? You should have been the fucking best player on the court, Scotty. How the hell you let Cameron Johnson take over the game at the end of the game and be the big clutch winning big-time player, the best player in the court when you are Scotty All-Star Barnes, Rookie of the Year? Who the fuck are you, Scott? Tell me. Because you seem like an imposter right now. You know, maybe I should have paid more attention to the Twitch stream when you're playing NBA 2K and you don't give a shit about losing all the time. There were many, many times on that video game where I'm like, Scotty, turn it on and do something in this game and try and win. But no, you would lose on 2K left and right, my guy. Like, you didn't give a shit. You know, there's something lacking in you in winning edge. I'm going to say that right now, Scott. And I hate to say it. It tears me up inside because I don't want to believe it. But there's more and more evidence to prove it is true. All the time I spent watching you in the summer, watching you play 2K, you did not have that Michael Jordan, I have to win at all costs kind of mentality. You were very lazy about whether you won or not. And I know you were like, no, I need better 2K players around me. I need this, I need that. But you didn't get better. In some ways, you kept just being like, yeah, our team just loses. It's just how it is. I mean, that's how I feel about you 2K playing. Seriously. In some ways, it can be a portal into how you compete. Because in some ways, Michael Jordan, if he had 2K when he was around, first of all, he probably wouldn't be playing video games, honestly, because he'd be doing it for himself in the court on real life. He would probably want to win every single freaking game he ever played on 2K and never, ever lose, because that's just how he was. He couldn't lose at pool. He could lose at any kind of competition that he would be involved in. He had to win. He had that mentality. Kobe had the same thing. I'm worried about you, Scott, about whether you have a mentality that is, I have to be better, the best player on the court, like Michael said all the time. I have to win games because I want to be the best player on the court. In some ways, you're dropping the ball on this, Scott. In the last 5 minutes of game, you absolutely stunk the bed up. Now, I can give you the excuse of coming back, first game back from missing, but you weren't gone that long. And honestly, you look real healthy. And honestly, you're the type of player that add water to instantly has things happen. You're not this kind of guy that should have a game where, especially since you're screwing up in the last 5 minutes of game, where you played really good for most of the game. You played fantastic for most of the game. You did Scotty stuff throughout most of the game. And in the last 5 minutes, it seemed like you were throwing the game on purpose. Seriously. Scotty, are you fucking throwing games on purpose? Did Masai them tell you to lose on purpose because we're in capture the flag sweepstakes? Because that's what it looked like last night. And if you're acting like, no, I'm trying, dude, no, you're not, because you're not taking it to them. You're not succeeding. You're not executing. You're making horrible turnovers. You're shooting very bad shot selection, and you're fucking us up to win the game. I don't know. I got a mystery to solve on this shit, Scooby-Doo. What the fuck is wrong with the Raptors? And why the fuck couldn't they beat the Nets at home last night in a game that was very winnable, a game that they had a lead going in the fourth quarter, a game where they had all reasons to win last night, and they did not manage to do it? Maybe this is just one of those nights where it's like they fucking absolutely failed, and that's just it, Lex. But why does it feel like Scotty threw the game on purpose? Why does it feel like that, Scott? Why does it feel like that right now? Offensive foul. Yeah, I saw you push him. Ben Taylor was the touchy ref the whole fucking night. You saw him throw Claxton out. You saw him throw him out just for throwing the ball into the crowd. Ben Taylor was calling touchy ass shit. Sometimes he's sensitive. Sometimes he really is sensitive. And, well, he saw you push off on that play going into the lane, and he called an offensive foul at the worst fucking time in the game, right at the end. Should have known this, Scott. You have to use your brain during the game. You have to understand the whistle and how it is night in, night out. On different nights, that's okay. But that is not okay when Ben Taylor's being sensitive-ass whistle the whole fucking night. You need to play with that in mind. when you were at the top of the key and you launched that three-pointer, the last one you took, Grady was to your left, wide open. Why the fuck didn't you throw it to Grady? You idiot. Why? You had a guy right in your face. You were covered. And Grady was right there next to you left. You should have fucking thrown it to Grady. What the fuck are you doing, Scott? With your life? Quit wasting your life. Quit wasting your life. Get your shit together and win some games. I'm serious. I'm sick of this shit. RJ was out there. He would have carried us to the victory by the end. Oh, my God. Please, Emmanuel, come back. This is why it's fishy as fuck. We short suit ourselves on purpose to lose in a season that we want to be high in the draft, obviously. That is what it is, Lex. Get with the program, Lex. It is actually a tank command. It is actually all supposed to be going this way. Nameless was right yesterday. When Nameless said, oh, they need to lose, Lex. I was like, fuck you, Nameless. I don't want to lose. Well, they did want to lose, apparently. And my paisano was right. In some ways, it's making Darko look bad. That made Darko look bad last night, y'all. That made him look bad. The wide open three Cameron Johnson hit, the dagger. Who the fuck was supposed to be guarding him? Who fucked that up? I'm at the point of the season. This game you did not manage to win last night may have been the last possible game to win this year. Seriously. It's not easier going against Fred and the hot Rockets this weekend. It's not easy against the Knicks on Madison Square Garden on the second night of a back-to-back on Monday. No. Memphis on Boxing Day? You kidding me? They're a top 5 Western team this year. Memphis is not Memphis last year. Atlanta? Well, you saw what they just did in the Cup. They got pretty far in the NBA Cup. They're way better this year than they were last year. And then fucking Boston on New Year's Eve. What do you fucking think's going to happen on New Year's Eve? And then turn around, we get to play the Nets all over again at home again on New Year's Day. And I'm going to that game. I better see a better result than the one last night. Coming down there in person on New Year's Day to see the Raptors play the Nets once again. Yeah, your next chance to win probably is the next Nets game on New Year's Day, Raptors. You got too much time off. Y'all got soft. Y'all lost your edge. Y'all lost your competitiveness. We've seen it. We saw it in the Bulls game for most of the game. And last night, y'all played. This is the crazy thing. It was kind of like the opposite of the Bulls game. The Bulls game, let's play half-ass for 40 minutes and then turn it on the fourth and try and win behind a very strong performance of Jamal Shed. Last night, it was let's play most of the game very, very well and then shit the bed in the fourth quarter and lose to the Nets. It's like the inverse. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Maybe y'all don't need so much time off. Maybe y'all don't need to go on little extra special side missions on your own in your own life and go and do different things away from the team. When the team's together and they're around each other like they've been since July, going to Spain and all these other places, and then the preseason, right on the season, y'all look good, unity. But ever since y'all had an extended break last week, y'all have not looked like y'all are on the right page or coming correctly with the energy or the right way to play together. I hate it. I hate it. This is the worst week of this season. We played 2 games. We lost both of them at home, and they were against teams we should have beat, to be quite honest. They were against 2 teams. I can take the losses to top teams because that's what's supposed to happen. But this kind of shit is not supposed to happen, what happened last night. No, it isn't. And you add on a shit-the-bed performance by the 905 earlier in the day against Rio Grande also. Yeah, it's a bad fucking day for the Raptors freak. It's a bad fucking day for the Raptors freak yesterday with all the bullshit going on. All right, I'm going to do the stars of the game, the classic card, the Instagram stories, all the normal stuff, but I'm pissed today, all right? And this isn't even a freak out Friday. This is just a pissed off Lexi on a Friday is what it is right here. Yeah, Trevor saying this, strength comes from struggle. When you learn to see your struggles as opportunities to become stronger, better, wiser, then your thinking shifts from what I can't do to I must do this. I like that. Yeah, adversity does make you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's what they say, right? Well, boy, are we going to have to get stronger soon in all kinds of ways in our world right now. Boy, are we ever. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so pissed off. I'm not just pissed off about the Raptors. I'm pissed off about American politics right now too. And I don't even want to go there right now. I'm actually considering shutting down my whole entire social media contact with anything political at this point because it's all going to hell. It's all jumbled bullshit, and none of it makes sense anymore. None of it's just and right. So why the fuck should I want it in my life and see it? That's where it's getting to the point. It's like, you know what? Y'all have fucked this world up so bad that I don't even want to pay attention to the world burning down at this point, is basically where I'm at with this shit. Yeah, and it's not going to get any easier. This Christmas is going to be a lot of hard stuff with the government shutdown and all the other kind of bullshit that's going on right now. I want to say this right now on behalf of the Canada postal workers. I support you. I supported your strike recently. Anybody who's mad at this postal workers for ruining Christmas, fuck you. They didn't ruin Christmas. The government not paying them correctly ruined Christmas, and it's not the hard workers that carry our postal mail every single day while they're on duty. And seriously, that strike, I support them on that, because in some ways, when the workers unite and strike because they want better wages and rights, I am on their side every single time. Whether it's Amazon going on in the States right now, whether it's the postal workers here in Canada. Anybody who's an ugly or mean to postal workers because they came back to work this week and they feel like they screwed up their Christmas, fuck you. You get my 2-finger salute. Those people have the right to strike, and they're right to get better wages and better benefits and the things that they need in their life. That's how I stand on that. That's right. Let's go. Trevor J saying Raptors let one get away from them by not playing Raptors basketball. You're exactly right. That's why I'm mad. It's because we've seen Raptors basketball most of this year. We've seen them lose admirably, but they did not lose admirably this week. This week has been, like I said, the worst week of the season. We only played 2 games. It was at home against Chicago and at home against Brooklyn. You know, I can get mad at the refs for Dallas and New York, but I can't get mad at the refs for what happened this week. I can only get mad at the team for coming out and playing half-ass and not playing complete 48 minutes the correct way. And that's what they did in both those games this week. Trevor's saying if Yak and RJ were in that game, we win. Of course. Of course. That's why I start to wonder, what the fuck are you doing, Messiah and Bobby? Are y'all doing this shit on purpose? Seriously. It's like, oh, Scotty's coming back. RJ, you still have the sniffles. You need to sit because we're going to be way too good if you come back. And what about IQ? What about Bruce Brown, for Pete's sake? Y'all told us a month ago Bruce Brown was going to come back. What the fuck is going on, Raptors? Why are you short-suiting yourself? Why are you stacking the deck against yourself with your injury list and not trying as best as you can? Why are the personnel not being out there? Why do we not get our team? Is this a revolving door year? Is that what I'm going to fucking call this year? The revolving door year, where it just never ever was perfectly healthy, and we just had constantly guys going in and out the fucking revolving door of injuries. I'm serious. This is pissing me off. You haven't seen me this pissed this year. This pissed me off last night. Totally pissed me off. And fuck the purple jerseys. Fuck the purple coming back. I told y'all we're going to have a 20-win season because purple shit is around us this year. Fuck the purple. And your purple maniacs. And your stupid ass. I want purple all the time. Purple, you get 20-win seasons, you dumbasses. You wear red, you win. In some ways, I'm so mad. It's ludicrous. I'm so mad. I may be the most mad I've ever been on this show right now. Ever in the whole history of the 3 years of me doing this channel, this may be the most pissed off I've ever been the whole time. Yeah, I'm pissed off at a lot of different things right now. Let's go. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Another frustrating loss. Yes, we need to learn how to close out games, and I hate to say Darko's recent combinations have been interesting, not in a good way. Now, once again, I want to save Darko no matter what, so I'm not going to necessarily dump it on him, although there is some blame for him yesterday, for sure. I don't know. At one point, look, I loved the starting lineup. I thought that the young starting lineup was fantastic. There was a certain level of talent and athleticism and energy with the starting lineup of Grady, Oshai, Jacoby, Scotty, and Jonathan. But they're undersized. And during that game, Claxton was a problem early, but then Claxton took himself out of the game. I was like, oh, this is a gift. Ben Taylor wanted to throw him out. He threw him out. And he fucking said, yeah, you flung the ball off the court. That is a big no-no. That is a technical. But it may be that the way he did it and he could have hurt somebody in the crowd. Honestly, it's not really going to hurt somebody, but he threw it hard enough directly at a fan. That's part of the reason why that's a tech. And then Nicholas Claxton, as Fiercey said, has anger problems. He goes over the bench and he grabs a cushion off the bench like he's going to throw it onto the court like he's mad and he wants to wreck shit. Man, that young man needs counseling. Let's just put it that way. That young man needs counseling. Now, getting back to what I was saying, the bigs on the Nets kicked our ass on the down low without Jakob out there. Day'Ron Sharpe was a problem. Clowney was a problem when he went down low, and Claxton could have been more of a problem, but honestly, he didn't get engaged in the game to the extent that he normally does. Now, they had a lineup that they put out there at one point that I loved. It was an actual legitimate lineup. It was Kelly at center, Scotty at power forward, and Chris at small forward. That was a legitimate, real front court. When we had that lineup out there, we were able to do things on the boards. At halftime, we had half the rebounds that the Nets had. That was a real problem. We were short stacked at front without Yak being out there. And I don't know why the fuck you won't play Bruno Fernando. Last night, you probably should have played Bruno Darko. That may have been one of my biggest criticisms of last night, is that, you know what? We don't need an ultra talented big. We just need a big body to counterweight the big body of Day'Ron Sharpe. And in some ways, Day'Ron Sharpe going to throw around a bunch of weight and do stuff like he did out there. We needed Bruno to come out there and push back. But no, we never saw Bruno Fernando. And some people are like, well, Bruno sucks, Lex. Why would we play Bruno? Well, in some ways, this is why. Because you need a counterbalance weight to the very big player on the other side playing the pivot. And we didn't see that. Kelly was good. There were things that Kelly did last night that I was really happy about. Once again, he's not that kind of big in that kind of way. And we saw it at the end of last year when he had to start at center for us when Yak was out, that he just can't do the big man defensive stuff that's important in certain ways in certain places. So it's just a tough situation in a couple different ways. As far as, I don't know. I feel like we're not using our personnel right. Our personnel is not available, and there's a lot of injuries. And it sucks. It sucks. It is so annoying. Let's see what else you guys are saying. I did like that young starting lineup, though, and there was a lot of athleticism in it. Jacoby was very interesting. I like what he's doing. Grady, very interesting also. And, yeah, I will do my stars of the game in a second, and they may be surprising to you guys. Fiercely saying, I'm still rooting for him, and I wish there is a bigger plan behind his reasoning. I'm just hoping the players won't get turned off with all the losing at some point. That is something I'm very worried about. I'm more worried about that at this point now than I was before. And it's really because, I see the looks on their faces. In particular, Grady. Grady does not look like he's enjoying himself at all. I mean, look, I don't expect Grady to be a happy-go-lucky, smiley guy. In some ways, he's got to have a game face and in competition that he's like out there fighting. And, it's very physical and it's not easy. But in some ways, Grady does not look happy. And I hate that. And I don't want to be an incubator for young players to get through their first initial years in the NBA just to go off to another team. And I feel like in some ways we're in danger of that if we don't start to win again, Masai. You need to fucking give these guys some good vibes. And if y'all are trying to lose on purpose for some shady-ass, weird-ass reason because you want to get at the top of the draft, well, this better be worth it in the end. There's no guarantees if you do this kind of shit, Ujiri. And honestly, I am not liking this because it does feel like y'all are stealth tanking at this point. It really, really does. At some point, I've been saying on this channel all season, well, the Raptors are just doing what they would do in this situation as far as like they just don't have enough talent. They just don't have this and this and this, and this is what's happening. So if you're going to do this, Masai, you better hope that it fucking comes through. Your gamble on Kawhi Leonard really paid off big time. And hopefully, whatever you're gambling with this year, as far as dealing with the Raptors and their win percentage, you better hope your fucking gamble pays off too. Because in some ways, you're dealing with the whole franchise's fate if you don't. Whether it's going to be your fate, honestly, yourself, whether it's going to be Darko's fate, whether it's going to be the fate of our young players that play for us and their future. And I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Don't fuck around with losing and make it a habit is what I'm saying to Masai. Don't do that. Seriously. Don't do that. Fiercely saying, great words of wisdom, Trevor J. Also applies to younger players and also us. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, adversity is something that will really test you and make you a better person in the long run, but it's not easy always. And you just got to try your best and get through it. And, experience is part of the gain from it is experience, whether you win or lose, is it the experience. And I'm pissed at Scott. Honestly, you should know better right now. You're a smart young man, Barnes. Why are you not connecting what is winning for you at the end? And why are you going off script? Why are you doing such weird shit at the end of the game that is absolutely not winning plays? Seriously. I mean, you did this the last shot you made last night was this very beautiful back down where you back the guy down on the elbow and you did a turnaround on the guy. And then you tried to come back and do it the next time down, but you missed it. Jalen Wilson was guarding you. And, why didn't you continue to do that? Seriously, you could have ate their lunch the whole time because of how big you are and how you do things. They can't stop you, man. And that's when we need you to go Super Scotty mode, take over the game, and be the best player on the court, like Cam Johnson did last night. And Cam Johnson rung off all those points in a row. Y'all could not stop him. He's backing down the mismatch on his end and shooting over Grady. Meanwhile, you're not doing the fucking same thing, going the counterbalance. That's what I'm saying, Scott. In the NBA, you're supposed to compete. You're not supposed to just be out there, smile, and run up and down the court and do fun plays. You're supposed to compete. You're supposed to try to win. You're supposed to beat your counterpart on the other side. And if you can't beat a guy named Cameron Johnson that nobody fucking knows in this whole fucking league, who the fuck are you going to beat as far as a big name, MVP candidate, a top player like SGA or Nikola Jokic? How the fuck are you going to beat them if you can't beat Cameron Johnson, Scott? Seriously, look at yourself in the mirror and understand what I'm saying this morning. If you have anybody like Lloyd or anybody from your contingency listening to me, you need to let them play me for you this morning to hear what I'm saying. Because you need a wake-up call, my man. And in some ways, I know it's the first game back. We can use that excuse to an extent. But the fact that you played excellent basketball for 3 quarters and then stunk the bed up right at the end when it mattered the most is a real fucking warning sign and pisses me the fuck off. I'm going to say that right now. Yeah. Monique's saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Not playing well to win is right. Learning every day through fourth quarter issues. Yeah, I'm pissed off, Monique. I appreciate you coming down there and trying to help with the vibes. It looked like a fun night. It was nice to see Kat at halftime dancing with the dance back. I still feel like they're doing half-ass shit for in-game ops since Rodgers became primary owner. They're not going all out and doing things like they used to. Giants of Africa, and even that night last night, they said they're doing all these things and stuff like that. I don't know. I wasn't at the arena exactly, but it didn't seem like they did a whole lot of extra special shit for Era's night, honestly. Maybe they had some trivia and in-game ops stuff, but it didn't seem like it was – I don't know. I don't know why it's just not hitting the same way. Like Raptors have always had quality in-game arena stuff, and in some ways it's downgraded already in this season. I can tell. In some ways. I don't know. Mo, I'm glad you went to the game. I wish they'd won. I'm so pissed off right now, Mo. You can tell. Fiercely saying, I knew Claxton would get ejected, but anticipated a brawl as usual. This time was on him and his anger management. Jordy wanted to keep him, but at what cost? Luckily, they still won without him. I understand why Coach Fernandez wanted to keep Nicholas Claxton when he took over as the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. He is probably their best commodity as far as a big guy that can, block shots and defense and all that kind of stuff. It's just his attitude. And honestly, there was a time where we talked about wanting Claxton on the Raptors. No, you don't want a player like that on your team because in some ways you can't depend on him. Like the Nets couldn't depend on him last night. He got thrown out very early in the game, and that absolutely hurt them. And in fact, that pissed me off because in some ways that made it even easier for us to beat the Nets, and we still managed to lose to them. That's fucked up, man. Nicholas Claxton threw himself out of the game literally, and we still could not come around and beat the Nets like this. We need these wins. Seriously, 7 wins is not good enough right now. In some ways, we should have had 10 already by now, and we're not going to get to 10 by the end of this calendar year. And that's messed up, man. That is messed up. There's not a lot of hope right now. And that's the thing. If we don't have hope, then the players, I don't even know what they're thinking on the inside. And some they just know what the plan is. Is it capture the flag? Is it just go for ace? Is it whatever? What is it? Seriously, what the fuck are y'all doing with your lives? Why are you wasting your lives, Scott?
Why are you wasting your life is what I'm asking you, man. Why don't you go and fucking take it? You know, LeBron, Michael, Kobe, these guys come in the league. They come with a competitive edge, and they're in a situation like the one last night. They make sure they win. But you're not doing that. What is wrong with you, Scott? Seriously, are you tanking on purpose? Are you not caring about playing for the Raptors on the down low? And that you're just kind of going through the motions while you're here in Toronto and then you're going to leave at some point, Scott? I don't know. I could start Windhurst a lot of shit off of a half-assed performance in the fourth quarter last night. I can. And I don't want to believe this because I believe you're a real one for the Raptors deep down. But in some ways, I have to start looking at the warning signs. And there's some warning signs here, Scott. There's some warning signs here. Yes, there are. Trevor's saying we're not the first team to go through this in a rebuild. This is what we are. We whine and cry for a younger team, but we forget it will be growing pains that we'll never condition our mind for. I never whined and cried for a younger team. Whoever was doing that in Raptors Nation, you fucking idiots. That's what I'm saying. I valued our vets. I valued the time spent building up OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet. And I didn't want to cast them out like garbage. In some ways, that's the big gamble, is switching to Scotty's regime and putting him the focal point in the face of the franchise. Well, we ride with him now. And we ride or die on him. And if he's half-assed about his life and winning, well, then we're going to be half-assed as a team. You know, in some ways, I knew where Fred's heart was. I knew where he was with things. I questioned Pascal sometimes, and OG kind of seemed aloof at times, but I knew where Fred was. I knew where Fred was with this whole thing. At least I knew him. In some ways, that's why I valued those guys. Maybe there would have been an alternative universe where we went with those guys and we didn't put all our eggs in the basket with Scotty Barnes. And maybe we still have these guys on our team invested on big contracts and where they are at with their careers right now. And maybe we're still competing in the playoffs and possibly a championship contender. I don't know. We'll never know because there was a certain contingency of people that, you know, really pushed for this. And you know what? I'm not disagreeing that this wasn't the right thing to do. Sometimes it's good to change the page and move to the next era. But in some ways, people don't realize exactly what that meant. And this is what Trevor's saying right here, that when you do this, you got to go through this hard ass shit. And that's just the facts, Raptors fans. That's just the facts right there. Most saying, and showed signs of growth, can confirm, Lex. John Attilia is still working for the team. Spoke to him almost an hour last night on things, players, and security. That's really awesome. I did see John before the game in the feed. He was shadowing Chris Boucher when he went out into the crowd to sign autographs for young fans and take pictures. Chris is so awesome that way. He does his shoot around. He's out there almost every game before the game, shooting around, him and Bruce Brown. And then he goes into the crowd and he goes up into the stands and he takes pictures with young kid fans. And he's so smiling and happy. And John Attilia was there. I saw him. John's getting older, I can tell. And it could very well be that he retired from being the main security guy for them because he didn't want to travel as much. But maybe he's still around in Toronto and he shows up and he does home games and stuff. That's what I'm going to guess about it. Of course, he has a different guy. There's a different guy handling it mostly. But it's great to hear that you got to talk to him. He's a Raptor legend on the down low. In some ways, people that know John Attilia is, they're real ones. They're real fans. Because if you know who that man is, you know your Raptors is what I'm saying. Most saying we all knew Scotty would be back, plus Court continues to be fire. Yep. Scotty, I called it yesterday morning. I've staked my reputation on it, and, well, I was right. I was right once again. I mean, if I'm going to do these previews during the morning and I'm going to make educated guesses before they officially announce things and then they do come through, I'm like, all right. Yeah, that's good. The Court is fire. In some ways, seeing the purple front blackback jerseys is awesome. Listening to Matt and Alvin talk about Alvin's jersey and seeing fans in the crowd wearing the number 20, Alvin Williams jerseys, and Alvin riffing, oh, those must have been passed down to them because they look too young. Give them to them from their grandparents. That's hilarious. Alvin's so self-deprecating. And it's true. Those jerseys are very much Alvin Williams' part in the Raptors' history. The purple front blackbacks are not just Vince Carter jerseys. Those are Alvin Williams jerseys. Those are Muggsy Bogues jerseys. Those are Charles Oakley jerseys. Those are Kevin Willis jerseys. And in some ways, I love seeing those jerseys. In fact, I have a more of a newfound love for those jerseys because we brought them back this year. And, I like them. They're not totally purple. They're half black. So in some ways, and the court is fire. You guys are all exactly right. That court is probably one of the best courts in NBA history ever. That court that we used last night. But once again, we lost on it. And that pisses me off, man. That pisses me off. Yeah. Yeah. Monique saying, yes, you can. Marquise wanted this win, not 905. That game pissed me off too. Because honestly, all right, the first half with the 905, they were playing really well, honestly, but the Vipers were playing just a bit better. Like they shot a little bit better, and the real big difference is they had a true point guard. That Marquise Noel was running the show against the 905 yesterday, and he really gets them organized, and they had some good scores that did a couple things around him. And meanwhile, our 905 guys are just running cardio. The last couple games, these guys just can't put the ball in the basket. They'll get like 20 minutes in the game and they'll score like 4 points. There's a lot of guys doing that right now on the 905 team. They're just not getting connected to each other. There's a lot of turnovers. There's a lot of missed shots, and they just suck. They just suck. They hung with the Vipers for the first half, and then in the second half, they got blown out. They got blown out completely. It's like Mo went to the game at halftime. She's like, all right, guys, I'll see you, Raptor Freaks. I'm out on the chat for 905 because I got to go to the arena for the Raptors game. And then after that, it all went downhill after that, Mo, honestly. The Vipers just continued to kick our ass. And the 905 had no answers. They had no answers at all. In fact, I'll do the stars of the game for this one first. Since that was the earlier game, we'll do that first. My star of the game for last night for yesterday during the day for Rio Grande Valley Vipers versus Raptors 905 was Tyreek Key. Tyreek Key started yesterday, and he got 6 for 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Minus 13 was 17 points in 35 minutes. That's my number one star of the game. Got 17 points. He shot 6 of 11. That's one of the better shooting performances of anybody from yesterday. They missed so many fucking free throws, and that is exactly why they lost, is because these guys can't hit free throws, and they lose so many points because of that. If they ever make this rule change to the NBA that they use in G League for free throws, teams that shoot bad free throws are going to lose even more, y'all. If there's anything I've learned about the free throw rule in the G League, is if you're a bad free throw shooting team, this is going to hurt you even worse because you're going to lose so many points from free throws. And that is exactly what happened to the Raptors 905 yesterday. They were 10 of 15 from the free throw line, 67%, 5 points. No, not 5 points, because some of those free throws counted 2 points and 3 points even. So it's not 5 points missed. They probably missed about 10 points, if not almost 50, not 15. It was around 10 points they missed out on there. But they can't make free throws, especially at crucial times when they're trying to make up the difference. They're screwed. They're never going to win. So Raptors 905, until you start making your free throws, I don't take you seriously. Y'all are not a serious team. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why I made Tyreek Key the number one star of the game, because he made all his free throws. He was 2 for 2. The free throw line. The second star of the game for me is Kennedy Chandler, begrudgingly, because honestly, Kennedy Chandler is not efficient. He's a very selfish player. And you look at at Marquise Noel yesterday, and you look at Kennedy Chandler, and you realize what a real point guard looks like and what an imposter point guard looks like. And Kennedy Chandler is an imposter. This guy 8 for 10. He was 8 for 10. That's great shooting. That's the only reason why I put him as a star, because he was efficient for his own self, but he didn't help anybody else. He missed 2 free throws. He was 1 of 3. He had 1 rebound, 5 assists, but 5 turnovers. So your assist to turnover ratio as a point guard was 5-5, Kennedy Chandler. That's not helpful. So every assist that you set up a teammate, you turn the ball over and let the other team score. A minus 34. That may be the most telling stat about Kennedy Chandler right there. A minus 34. While he was on the court. They outscored us 34 points when he was on the court. 18 points for him in 28 minutes. I begrudgingly made him a star because there was nobody else to do anything with, and it was really because he was 8 for 10. Really because of that. The third star of the game for me was Evan Gilliard, the backup point guard. Came in, and he was 3 for 5 in 16 minutes, 1 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He missed 1 free throw, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal, 4 turnovers once again. So this is our point guards. They had 8 assists and 9 turnovers, 8-9 ratio. That's horrible. But Evan Gilliard had a winning kind of effect on the game because he was a plus 10 with 13 points in 16 minutes. So he was also kind of close to his minutes count with his points, 13 minutes and 13 points in 16 minutes. Yeah, just awful. Like, seriously, the Raptors 905 had 4 guys in double digits, and none of them made 20 points. And there were so many guys out there shooting so badly. They shot 46% from the field. So many people missing left and right out there in all kinds of ways. Just garbage players. Eugene Omoruyi got hurt halfway through the game and had to leave the game and did not return. He had 9 points before he got hurt, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 for 9 from the field. Frank Kaminsky, in his 905 debut, he looked really tall. He was a lot taller than I remember him. In some ways, he's going to be very good at 905 if he sticks around and he can get like kind of gelled with them. He was not gelled with them last night. He was not playing well. 2 of 8 from the field. He missed all 3 of his threes. He did make his free throw. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 6 points for Frank in 23 minutes. And then AJ Lawson, this could have been a huge game for him where he took over and won this game, but he was ineffective to a degree also. 5 of 13 from the field. He just missed a lot. 2 of 6 from 3. He did make all 3 of his free throws, so I applaud him for that. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a minus 19 with 17 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, AJ, in some ways, you can't just get 17, bro. You got to get over 30 because you have to carry this 905 team scoring because, honestly, they're not going to score very well without you. Shamshe was okay. Honestly, Shamshe is an honorable mention for a star. 30 minutes for him off the bench, 2 of 5 from the field, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks, plus 6 with 4 points. So Shamshe was a winning factor on the court, and that's good to see. That's good to see. Quincy was annoying. Quincy was okay. He shot 4 for 8, 1 of 3 from 3, missed his only free throw, and it was a crucial one at an important time, and it was really, really bad when he missed his free throw. 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, a minus 22 with 9 points in 24 minutes. See what I'm saying? There's a bunch of guys playing over 20 minutes, and they can't even get a double-digit scoring. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Seriously, stop running cardio with your lives and get out there and start trying to win. Start making baskets and start putting the ball in the hoop. Seriously, we gonna run around up and down the court for 20 minutes and score 8 points? Come on, man. You're better than that. You guys are professionals. You're so close to being in the league. Y'all need to do better is what I'm saying right here. Disu, only 4 minutes, 1 of 3 for all 3-point shots, 2 rebounds. He was a plus 13, though. He came in at the end of the game when they were trying to make up some of the deficit because they were down by 30 at one point, and they ended up only losing by 17. And Disu was in that late push when they tried to make up the difference. 3 points for Disu off a 1-3 made. Charlie Brown, absolute disgrace, as he has been all year. 22 minutes, 2 points. 22 minutes, that man's ran out there. He only gets 2 points. Cardio agent. 1 for 7 from the field. 0 for 6 from 3. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 block. That's what he did, y'all. Charlie Brown scored 2 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 1 block in 22 minutes of play. Yeah, you don't need to be in the league, bro. You're not a professional player. You're not going to make it in the NBA. You shouldn't even be in G League, honestly. Seriously. Tyler Perry, 6 minutes, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 0 for 1 at free throw, 2 assists, 3 steals, 5 points for Tyler Perry. Yeah, it's just tough, man. It's just tough. The 905 is just not a serious team. They're not going to take their free throws seriously. That just shows how unserious they are. Marquise Noel, double-double for him on the other side. 2 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 13 assists, 3 steals, 4 turnovers, a plus 14 with 10 points in 28 minutes. Fantastic game by our former point guard. In fact, I wish he was still on our team, honestly. I would trade Kennedy Chandler for Marquise Noel in a heartbeat right now, because honestly, Marquise is so fun to watch. He's so good at finding his teammates, and he is a true point guard. 13 assists, 4 turnovers. That's a badass. That's a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. It's very, very good. On the other side, the guys that killed us was Jermaine Samuels, 9 of 13 with 25 points in 28 minutes. And off the bench, Thon Maker with 11 points and off the bench, and also Nate Hinton with 12 points off the bench. They had 6 players in double digits, and we had barely anybody in double digits. It's just crap, man. It's just crap. 905 is just not serious. The Raptors organization just not serious right now. That's it. Both performances, but both teams yesterday just not serious about winning. Just not serious about doing the little things that add up to winning, and just being careless and not taking care of the little details. And I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah, they shot 46% as a team, while the Vipers shot 51%. They were scoring at will. They had an easy time scoring every which way, Rio Grande, and we struggled with scoring, and we had put up no resistance against them. No resistance. They made 12 threes. We made 10. We shot 27% from threes. Yeah, and once again, the free throw line, absolutely horrible. Horrible job. We got out-rebounded 46-38. Just really, really bad game. 17 steals for the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. That just shows that in some ways we didn't take care of the ball that well. Was Marquise Noel just picking our pocket left and right? Because they got 17 steals on the 905 yesterday in the game. That's crazy. That's way too many steals. Way too many steals. They beat us in the points in the paint too. Yeah, just a disgrace. A disgrace of a game. My 3 stars, Tyreek Key, Kennedy Chandler begrudgingly, and Evan Gilliard. I don't want to talk about that game anymore. It was awful. So awful. Reggie's here. Good to see Smooth. I keep reminding myself that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for the Raptors. It's just really tough to see an elite shooter go off on them with no answers. A personal 15 and 2 by Cam Johnson. Wow. He ended the game on his own. I know. And that should be Scott. That should be Scott. That should be RJ. That should be IQ. That should be any of those guys. You know, when Matt Devlin's talking about during the announce that he's going to be spending the holidays with Alvin Williams because of our schedule with the broadcast and them having to go to Memphis on Boxing Day to cover that game and get the BBQ. I was like, man, don't go there for the BBQ food. Let's get BBQ back in action. Let's get all 3 of those guys out there because I want to see them at full strength. In some ways, we're short hitting. We're not our full selves. We're pulling punches. We're just not the right team without the full complement of barbecue. We need Emmanuel back. We need RJ and Scotty and Emmanuel on the court at the same time. We cannot gauge anything about this team without doing that. And we have not been able to do this. And we're 30 games almost in this season. This is messed up. In some ways, we need the barbecue, not the barbecue from Memphis that Matt Devlin wants to eat on Boxing Day. We need the barbecue as our players back in the lineup, healthy and ready to play. Yeah, it's disgusting. Cameron Johnson's better than you, Scotty. Yeah, Cameron Johnson's a better NBA player than you as of today because of what happened last night. In some ways, this is how they always gauged it. Old school. I don't know. Did the young players just not realize this? Ben Simmons, Scotty Barnes, Mount Verde guys. That the people that are the best in the league are the ones who win, dominate the games, and show that they are the man. And in some ways, there's no weakness. There's no pulling punches. There's no we're gonna go easy on you tonight. No. Michael Jordan was a tyrant. He would go and take people to task and kick their ass fully. And that's what I'm worried about. In some ways, if you're lackadaisical about being alpha top dog in NBA games, then you're not a superstar. And in some ways, I get it. Scott, you're a very nice guy, and you want to set up everybody else. But this is the thing. You did a weird thing where you blocked us from being good last night. Now, I get it. If you want to be a playmaker, you want to set up your teammates and be unselfish and not call your own number, do that. But no, that's not what you did last night. In some ways, you called your own number, but you did it in a stifling way where nobody else could do something to help, like Grady or any of the other guys. And you just called your own number, but you were unsuccessful and you were half-assed about it. And that's why we didn't execute at the end of the game or get this win. And that sucks, man. In some ways, you blocked us from the win last night, Scott, because you called your own damn number and you weren't effective. Cameron Johnson called his own number too, but he was effective. And this is the way we always called it back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. The best player wins the game at the end, and the best player was Cameron Johnson last night. You want that to not be the truth? Well, go out and fucking change it next time on New Year's Day and say, I'm Scotty Barnes. I'm the best player on this court tonight in this NBA game tonight on this court. In some ways, I don't think you get that in your fucking head. that you need to be that kind of superstar to get the accolades, to get it. You can be a Magic Johnson superstar where you're giving to everybody, but at some points, Magic knew that he needed to be the best player on the court at times and take over, be the guy that dominated the game for his team to win. So listen, you can be in that school of Magic Johnson, giving point guard kind of thing, getting your teammates involved and deferring to them. But when you defer, when you don't defer to them, you call your own number and you're half-assing things and you block us from winning. That looks real fishy to me. That looks real fishy to me. Seriously. My number one star of the game in the Raptors game last night was Ochai Agbaji. Agbaji just had the ethically best game last night out of everybody. 8 of 16, 50% shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. I love him shooting the threes. He's so money. If they get the ball to Ochai in a rhythm and pass it to him the right way, don't pass it to his feet. Don't make him have to bend over to pick it up. You throw it to him in the right place where he can catch it. He will shoot it and he will make it. And I like how they're looking for him across the court on the weak side and lofting it over everybody. And he just gets a wide open 3 on the other side. And he nails it. And some of the passes to him come from Grady and they're in rhythm. And boom, Ochai hits it real nice and easy from that. So, yeah, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 20 points for Ochai in 36 minutes. So, yeah, he had the best line to me. He was the only guy who got 20 points on the team. And I'm going to give him the number one star of the game in the loss. I feel like he was very good on defense, too. In some ways, he has a tough task when we play small that he has to play like the 4 and sometimes the 5 on defense. And he's so short, and he does his best job to try and do it with his muscles and strength. But it's tough, man. It's a tough job for Ochai. And, I give him a lot of credit. He was the best guy on the court for the Raptors last night. Kelly Olynyk is my second star, and that may surprise some people because, Kelly didn't seem like he stood out too much in the game last night, but he did. There were a couple different things he did in the game last night that were fantastic, but he did have some things that weren't perfect either, too. 2 for 5 for Kelly. This is only 3, but he made all 4 of his free throws, which is something I'm going to really pay attention because of what the 905 did yesterday, and also with the Raptors. Because in the Monday game against the Bulls, there were a lot of missed free throws that could have helped them in that game against Chicago. It wasn't so much the free throws last night, but when guys make all their free throws, that's fantastic. And Kelly got 4, and he made them all. 6 rebounds for Kelly, also 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 8 points. I like that he stat stuff last night. In some ways, part of the problems with the Raptors last night was we only played 9 guys, and some of them did not contribute in major ways to help us win at all. Whether they didn't get hardly any rebounds or any stats, and they barely scored either. So Kelly coming in and doing some stat stuff and off the bench was helpful, if anything. And in some ways, his veteran leadership was very key last night and talking to the refs and different things like that also. So Kelly's my second star. The third star of the game for me is Jamison Battle. See, I'm picking guys off the bench that didn't even get 10 points over Scotty and Grady because in some ways I didn't like the way they played, both of them. Jamison Battle, 3 for 7 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 assist, and that's it. 8 points, a +6. That's a horrible stat line, and I'm giving a star for that. That shows just how bad our team was last night in some ways. It pisses me off. I mean, Scotty, 5 for 11. That's not bad shooting. 2 of 6, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 16 points in 36 minutes. That just doesn't cut it, Scott. You're out there almost playing 40 minutes and you only get 16 points. And also, like, what the hell, man? You only got 3 rebounds. You're the biggest guy on the court with Yak out. You have to carry the burden of getting the boards for us. 6 assists is good. 2 blocks is good. But, man, I expect more from you. You and RJ, I'm going to, not give stars to unless y'all have above and beyond games. And this is not an above and beyond game for you. You failed at the end of the game, and I can't give you a star for that. And, you guys having a lot of turnovers between you and Grady is not good. 7 turnovers between Scotty and Grady last night, 4 for Grady. Grady was 6 of 14, which isn't horrible shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. I like that. 3 of 4 at the free throw line. He's an honorable mention, honestly. He could have gotten a star. He was really close. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers for Grady, 19 points in 33 minutes, a -11. Some of it is I'm looking at the plus minuses also. Are they out on the court when we're winning and taking the lead, or is it worse? Like, are they getting worse? And in some ways, they were getting worse. They're getting worse. Mobo, not bad. In some ways, he's not totally ready to be a starter. In a better world, he would be off the bench and coming in along slower, not having been thrown in the fire for starting so much. Because if we were healthy, he wouldn't be doing this. But, he's fine. He's stat stuffed a bit in the lineup. 4 of 11 for Jonathan. He missed both his threes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover, a minus 13, and 8 points. The chemistry between Scott and Jonathan's fun. Like when Scotty threw the lob to Jonathan, the dunk, that was awesome. And there's a connection there. There's a lot of familiarity when they're on the court together. It is really good combination. And, I want to see more of this in the future, as far as Jonathan and Scotty hooking up with each other on the court, as far as like assists and passes and all that stuff. That'd be fantastic. Jacoby was fine. Jacoby was okay. 3 of 10, though. Could have shot better. 1 of 3 from 3. Missed his only free throw. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 points for Jacoby, a minus 9. See, that's what I'm saying. You're a starter now, bro. You got to get double digits every game. You got to get double digits every game. We can't have you out there for 24 minutes. You only get 7 points, Jacoby. You've shown that you have an aptitude to find the ball to go through the hoop. And in some ways, we need to lean on you, and especially in a game like last night where we were having a hard time scoring. How the hell did we only have 46 points at halftime? Y'all need to get your scoring up and start putting the ball in the basket. I know the Nets are a feisty team. They're very physical right away at the beginning of the game. Keon Johnson, yeah, and they kind of knocked you off your block and not allowing y'all to be comfortable. But you still need to find ways to score. And even this is the sad thing. Like, I wouldn't have thought the Nets were so much bigger than us, but they were last night. Maybe it's the raw build as far as having Clowney, Claxton, Day'Ron Sharp. They have more bigs that are helpful and big and play big. And with Jakob out, we really see a sterling difference. But that's not an excuse. You guys are badasses. You're more talented. You needed to score on the Nets, even if they were playing physical and trying to knock you off your game. I'm sorry. Boucher, not a good game. 1 of 5. He took all 5 of his shots from 3. So he was 1 of 5 from 3. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block in 19 minutes, 3 points. Just not doing anything to help. And then Shed, 26 minutes with 5 points. That's what I'm saying. These guys are getting like 20 minutes and they're not scoring enough. And I'm not going to give enough credit to Jordy and his team for their defense. I'm going to say, why the hell are y'all not filling up the basket? That's what a basketball team is supposed to do. You're supposed to put the ball in the basket. So why are y'all not putting the ball in the basket is what I'm asking the Raptors this morning. Seriously, the DMP on Bruno Fernando looks bad, Darko. That may be the one thing where I will criticize you on, is that why didn't you play Bruno to match the weight of the Nets team? Because we were outweighed by them, and they doubled our rebounds at halftime. Like I said, they had 31 rebounds. We had 16 at halftime. That is horrible, man. They outshot us. They shot just a little bit better than us. We got more scoring opportunities. We made more threes than them. They got way more free throw attempts. And in some ways, that was a ref manipulation. Ben Taylor was a little bit of a dick last night. The beginning of the game, he was calling everything against Brooklyn. It was nice. I was making jokes. Ben Taylor's saying, fuck Brooklyn tonight. But then at some point during the game, things turned, and he was not – he on the down low was very, very touchy with us and allowing them to get a lot of free throws because they got 31 free throw attempts, and we only got 14. So I don't know. Somebody showed the stat this morning on Blue Skies that the Raptors are minus 149 in free throw differential with other teams this year. We have had 150 less free throws than all of our opponents this year. You tell me the NBA is not rigged against the Raptors. You tell me the NBA is not rigged against the Raptors when we're on not even 30 games in the season, and other NBA teams have gotten almost 150 more free throws than us in our games so far. That's messed up, man. They doubled us up. 31 attempts for them, 14 for us. That's messed up right there. They out-rebounded us badly, 53-34. What are you supposed to do with that? Rebounding is a really good indicator of winning. And when you get almost doubled up, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. We did get pretty good assists, 26 assists for our team. We did good with the turnovers, too. We only had 4 turnovers at halftime and ended up with 12 by the end of the game. They got 8 more in the second half, and it's too bad. It's too bad. Fast break points, hardly any. The game was very slowed down, which was weird. And then points in the paint. They dominated the points in the paint by plus 10. So yeah, it's messed up. It's a messed up game. I mean, we could parse it all over the place and say, okay, Ben Taylor's fault this, Darko's fault this, Scotty's fault this. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why we lost the game. And in some ways, I don't know. Was this according to plan? Masai Ujiri is what I'm saying. At this point, when this kind of shit happens like last night, I'm wondering if y'all are doing this shit on purpose. Seriously. Are y'all Aaron Baines stealth tanking right now? Because this shit seems like it right now. It really does. It really, really does. The way y'all are messing with your injury list and inexplicably losing games in the last 5 minutes of games when you have all the opportunity to probably win and out talent and beat the teams, but you still lose. Something's fishy here. Something's very, very fishy. That's right. Mo said, great halftime by Raptors alumni dance pack. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting to see them come back. I like the cat got to come back from the West Coast. That's where she lives now and be involved in the arena. You know what? It really would have felt more retro if she had done Mariah Amber's job for last night, because that's the job she's really known for, is the in-game op stuff with Mark Strizzy. That if they had given her the mic just for one more night and Mariah Amber could have had the night off, maybe she'd go and do the dance pack. That would have made the arena feel more retro with her voice going over the PA system. But alas, that was not what they designated, and that's just how it is. I mean, you really want to go retro, get Chuck Swirsky to trade in for Matt Devlin and get Kat out there calling, being in the in-game screaming, announcing woman that's yelling at the crowd to get them hyped with Strizzy. Because that's the old school right there. That's the error stuff right there. That's right. Seymour saying, I'm heartbroken. This is tough, but we will turn things around. That injury bug has us down bad. Yeah, I've been downhearted, baby, ever since the day you left. You know, listen, I really feel like this is being manipulated, honestly. I really do at this point. I think that the way the injury list switched around yesterday at the last minute before the game is so fucking fishy that MLSE or Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are doing some manipulation, honestly. I don't think that I don't want the NBA to investigate them or do anything like that, but it's weird, man. I feel like they're pulling punches. Smooth saying, in the fourth, especially turnovers are a very big problem for this team. Why? Yeah. Why? I don't know. That's the time when you did so well taking care of the ball in the first half, only 4 turnovers. Why fall apart right at the end when you need to really solidify yourself? I don't know. In some ways, Scotty's not very good if he's trying to throw the game. He made it seem like he was trying to throw the game. If you're trying to throw a game and you're trying to hide it, Scott, well, you need to do a better job, because it looked like you were trying to throw the game for us, literally, by throwing a game over Jamal Shedd's head, throwing the ball over his head, or just like a really dumb offensive fouls at the end. In the interview after the game, Scott was kind of nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, I got a couple of offensive fouls at the end of the game, and things just didn't go our way, and we didn't end up winning. Well, do you care? Do you want to win? Because in some ways, you got to want to win in the present moment when it's happening and when it's going down, and do better is what I'm saying. Scotty needs RJ's hunger. Yeah. I mean, listen, I want to trust my Raptors that they're doing the best they can for our franchise, and I know that most of them are, and I don't want to be insulting or anything, but I trust RJ that he is doing everything in his possible power to help the Raptors be successful. But at times, I wonder about other people on the Raptors team. You know, in some ways, Emmanuel, come back, man. I hate how much you've been injured as a Raptor. How many games have you missed compared to how many games have you played for the Raptors in the time since you got traded here from New York? I don't want you to be so used to and accustomed to being injured in street clothes on the bench, Emmanuel Quickly. We need you in the game. In some ways, I want to trust that. I want to trust that these guys are coming correct and doing the right thing for us. That's right. Seymour saying he's too flashy. We need a hunger, baby. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the flashy stuff's not worth it at the end of the game. You don't need to do that. Do your meat and potatoes. Do the stuff that matters. And Scott, I love the percentage. I posted this on Blue Skies earlier, reposted it. There's a thing out that says that Scotty Barnes, all right, in year 1 of his career, he took 26% of his shots at the rim. In year 4, he's taking 17% now. So that's down. That's no good. And his percentage of threes, he's took 20% threes in his first year. Now he's taking 37% from 3. In some ways, I don't like that trend. Scott, you need to be going closer to the basket and stop settling for outside threes lazily. Now, you made the furthest three you've ever made in your career yesterday, apparently. Like they measured it, and you had a really deep three last night that was really, really like nice because you did it confidently and you made it. You stepped into it. But in some ways, I don't like that trend. We see the trend of you making very good turnarounds and stuff in the paint and near the basket. That is where you need to be. They brought it up in the broadcast last night about Giannis in the NBA Cup. Giannis in that NBA Cup game against Oklahoma City earlier this week did not take a single three in that game. He did everything in the paint. He did everything in there. And that's kind of what we want you to do, Scott. I know Darko said he wants you to shoot threes as crazy as possible, but I don't know if that's the right idea. In some ways, you are such a good player within 15 feet of the basket. And there's gold to be mined down there that you're just leaving in the mine shaft and not going to get. And that's the thing that pisses me off. And we saw a little bit of it last night. So why not continue to try and do it? Cameron Johnson noticed a mismatch of Grady Dick guarding him, and he can go and back him down and do a little turnaround on him. Why can't you recognize it the other way against another Kansas Jayhawk, Jalen Wilson, more than just 2 plays down the court once in a row? That's what I'm bugging about right there, man. I'm bugging about right there. Really, really am. Yeah, turnovers woes are huge. Yeah, the turnovers for the Raptors 905 were bad, but the turnovers for the Raptors last night were only bad in the fourth quarter. It was a pretty solid game for turnovers for most of the game. It's just at the end they unraveled. It was stupid. It was stupid. Stargate saying, Lex, I agree with you 100%. Myself and Molly Weir were trying to explain this to Blackhawk and others last night in Spaces, but they didn't want to hear it. A very dangerous precedent is being set. Yeah, I don't know if it's that deep, though. You know, each game is kind of like wipe your mind of it and move to the next and just start with a clean slate and just kind of go in there and try and set up the new feeling. Once again, we have 2 days off. We're going to be off today, we're off tomorrow, and then we play Houston in Toronto on Sunday with Fred VanVleet. And, that'll be a new chance. And, the way our injury list is evolving and changing so often, I wouldn't be surprised if we're mostly healthy for the game on Sunday. Seriously. I mean, we could actually get the guys that have not played all year very, very soon all of a sudden. Jakob could return right away. And RJ's just sick. He could be back too. So that's the weird thing. They say that it's always darkest before the dawn, and that may be what's going on right now. That, this happened last year kind of too, where the Raptors had a really bad first part of the season until New Year's. And then we, made the trades, and then we got the new players come in, and we had a badass time a little bit in January with the spicy barbecue before Pascal got traded. And I could see this happening with the Raptors, hopefully, that we start collecting more W's in 2025 because of health and everybody being back all of a sudden. And I hope that's what happens. I really, really do. I'm sick of this losing. And you're right. We don't want to set a losing precedent and a losing culture, a losing kind of feel around our team for too long. In some ways, we need to try and win. We can't be trying to stealth tank. Seriously, this is really bad fucking strategy, Masai. We should have won last night. Seriously. Smith saying RJ genuinely loves being a Raptor playing at home. He hates losing. Yeah, we hate it too. He's a real one. He's like us. He's from our city. And man, when I heard that he wanted to play last night and the Raptors wouldn't let him, that pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. There's been probably so many different players that played in the league since the pandemic that probably shouldn't have, whether they were sick, whether they were hurt, whether it's this or that. And if RJ told the Raptors he could play last night, but they told him not to play, that's a sign to me that something weird is going on with how we're dealing with our injury list, game in, game out, engaging the opponent, and seeing where the water adds up to get it above the other team. Well, maybe we don't want that level to be above the Nets and let the Nets win, because that is the real ultimate goal. See, I don't like that. RJ wanted to play. They wouldn't let him. They would not let RJ play yesterday. And that's messed up. That's messed up to me. Wayne's here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Thank you, Lex. I'm of the same mindset. I don't see leadership in Scotty. He's young. I get it, but I just don't see it. Raptors are lacking leaders on the court. Disappointed. Yeah, I guess that's the word. Leadership is not just happy vibes and being friends with everybody. Leadership is going on the court and doing things and making them happen for your team to win. And that is the leadership you're lacking, Scott. If this bugs you that people say this today, well, fucking change it, bro. Seriously, you got all the powers in the world and skills as an NBA top-level player, and you're not utilizing them the correct way on the court to get the right results. And I completely agree with Wayne right now. You lack the leadership on the court to perform, and maybe in a scoring way to help the team. Maybe you're good at facilitating. Maybe you're good at blocks and steals and defense. Maybe you're good at passing to your other players, but you're not doing it with your own number. You need to call four sometimes. And four needs to dominate like Cameron Johnson did for a little while to get the win sometimes. You're a dominant player. If you have all this dominance in you, why don't you not use it? Do you think Wilt Chamberlain needed somebody to tell him to go dominate? No, he didn't. You think Michael Jordan needed somebody to tell him go dominate? No, he didn't. So why the fuck do we need to tell you to dominate, Scott? Why do we need to tell you to dominate? That's what I'm wondering right now. Carlos saying, hell yeah, Scotty lost us that last 5 minutes. He totally did. He totally lost the ball, solely him. Maybe Darko is partly to blame because he didn't come in. He didn't tell them what to do. Maybe he was not getting on Scott. Maybe he's like, oh, Scotty, it's fine. We are in rebuild. We're just learning. No, fuck that. We saw a game against a team that was less talented than us that we should have won, and it slipped through our fingers. And this year, we never every win we can get. Maybe we don't need every win we can get because Masai is not wanting wins because he wants a high draft pick. I have no idea. I'm confused as fuck at this point. Seriously, I am so confused as fuck at this point. Yeah, Seymour saying some players play for a check and O's and ahs, and some stay focused on the job at hand. Yeah. I mean, this is more and more evident. DeMar DeRozan delineated. There's a lot of players in this league that aren't here for the right reasons, and I'd hate to think that some of them are on our team. In some ways, that's the important thing that NBA players have to reckon with themselves inside, reconcile. What is your purpose in the NBA? If you're a high-level player, are you just happy to get the bag and live a nice, cushy NBA lifestyle? Or do you want glory? Do you want to win? Do you want to win championships? Because a lot of these guys that come in the league, yeah, they're talented, they're great players, but they're half-assed in their life, and they're not trying to win. And that's the thing that bugs me. I don't want Scott to be in that category. I don't want you to be in a category with Zion Williamson and Ben Simmons. Seriously, those are not good role models, Scott. I know you talked up Ben Simmons before, but I know that's partly because he went to the same school as you. But honestly, Ben Simmons is not a good role model, Scotty Barnes. Let's just put it that way. He's not a good role model. Hugh is back. Holy crap. We haven't seen Hugh in a bit. Welcome back, Hugh. Raptor Freak Hugh. Grady should be the primary offensive weapon with Scotty facilitating, crashing the boards for the time being. Yes. 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 I'm with you on that, Hugh. I thought that really pissed me off. That may have been the thing that pissed me off the most was Scotty selfishly taking the shot at the top of the key. Like, honestly, dude, you're not really calling your own number, trying to be dominant on the ball and doing things most of the time. But then you do it in the one moment. It's the absolute wrong time. When you have Grady to your left and he has a wide open three, you have double coming at you. Why the fuck didn't you pass it to Grady in the last 5 minutes when you were at the top of the key in that situation? Seriously, I hope they show that to you in tape and tell you, you know what, this may have been the right decision, Scott, was to pass it to him. Now, earlier in the game, you did that extra pass to Oshai in the corner, and that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. The ball moving on that one play that Scott made, he had an open three. He passed it up, and he passed it in the corner to Oshai, and he nailed it all net. That was awesome. That was an amazing play. That really warmed my heart, Scott. That was a beautiful extra pass play. Alvin cited it in the game. But that play at the end of the game where you took a shot selfishly when you had your best three-point shooter to your left and you should have been throwing it to him, that was a real fuck up. That made me angry, honestly. That absolutely made me angry. All right, Nameless has got waving the white flag. Surrender, huh? Surrender? What? Who? Me? I should just surrender to the tank gods? What is it? Who should I surrender to, Nameless? Let me know, man, my paisano. I hate that you were right yesterday. I hate that you were right, Nameless. Fiercely saying, we even managed to make Ben Simmons look good, attacking the paint, doing layups. That was pathetic. He wasn't even that good, honestly. He missed a lot of layups early. But yeah, you're right. We did make Ben Simmons get his trade value up and look a little bit better and resuscitate his career. That's awful. That's how bad we are right now. Ben Simmons is so bad that we made Ben Simmons look good again. Oh, that's pathetic. That is pathetic. Smooth saying RJ is the leader of this team, man. I'm sure he's counseling the guys after each loss. He's very mature for a young man. I mean, I don't want to make it a Scotty versus RJ thing. I really, really don't. I think that they can coexist and have their own different types of leadership. But I think if people really have to give a mantle to somebody who's the alpha leader who actually gives a shit about forcing our team to win, it is RJ. It is RJ because RJ shows it with force. He brings it. He does it. He performs in clutch and gets big baskets when he's available. And him not being available last night, if we get the choice of switching Scotty for RJ last night, which is what it's been recently, I would have preferred Barrett last night, honestly. Seriously, because I feel like he would have performed way better in the fourth quarter, and we probably would have won the game last night with that simple personnel switch. Scotty, I hate to say it, man, but in some ways, this is criticism that you need to hear right now. That in some ways, it's not you need to be exactly RJ, but there are traits about RJ and his mentality that you need to fucking take yourself. Seriously. Seymour saying Claxton got tossed and we still lost. Shaking my head. I know. It was ridiculous. We had the better team. We were the more talented. That's a generic team of no names. It's like the team on your video game that you just get all the weird people off free agency, and none of them they don't even have real faces. You know, they're really generic, that Brooklyn Nets team. In some ways, I disrespect them like that. They're no names. They're no-name brand at the shop, the grocery store. I don't understand how we lose to a no-name brand. We've got personality. We've got talent. We got guys like Grady Dick. We got guys like Scott Barnes. How the fuck did we lose to no-name brand last night? Seriously. No-name brand. That's right. Nameless is saying because they did throw the game on purpose. RJ had a case of sniffleitis, first of all. Yeah, RJ had the sniffles. I saw them in an interview earlier this week. So he was genuinely sick. But you know what? It sounded like he was sick when he played in the Bulls game, and he played fine. He came out there and played the game. So why the fuck did y'all hold him out last night? And you forced him not to play. That's fishy as fuck. And I hate it. Nameless might be right. They did throw the game on purpose last night. But why? We're on a 6-game losing streak now, and we're about to face 4 very tough opponents. We're going to have a 10-game losing streak very soon. And we've managed to avoid this kind of shit most of the year. We get wins peppered in every once in a while. It stops streaks. But this streak could get ugly, this one. Just in time for Christmas, Raptors fans. Here you go. Here's a 10-loss winning streak. A 10-loss streak. Fuck that bullshit, man. Fuck that bullshit. I don't see us winning the next 4 games or 5 games even. And that means we'll be like an 11-game losing streak. And the best next game, honestly, we could be Atlanta. We could beat Atlanta in Toronto. That could be the game we win, but the other ones are really hard. If we win in the other ones, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I'll be the inverse of what I am today. I'll be like, woohoo, we beat Fred. Woohoo, we beat OG. Woohoo, we beat Memphis. If we get any of that, then, I'll feel better. But I don't, my educated opinion is, yeah, we're going to lose all these games. Like looking at them and going into it. I mean, fuck, man. Like I said, we were favored to win yesterday by the sport betting books against the Nets, and we still managed to lose. This is the first game all year that we were actually favored to win, and we still managed to lose. That's part of why I'm pissed off too, is the experts, the betting experts out there said the Raptors were favored to win before the game. We have not had that all year, and we still managed to lose. What the fuck is that? Seriously. Smooth saying, Scotty Barnes, I'm sorry, Lex, but I will say it. He's a child, man. I mean, I get it, and it's true. In some ways, he is a very young attitude, young person. But in some ways, he's also matured a lot in the 4 years since he's been in Toronto, honestly. And I've seen it. He's growing up. It's just that in some ways, I don't know if he gets it in certain ways. Maybe Mobo can help him. Mobo from the outside, he's somebody you'll listen to. Maybe Jonathan can like kind of talk to him or something. Somebody needs to talk to him. Darko, you need to talk to Scott. You really do need to. Seriously, you really do need to. Carlos saying, yeah, I love Scott, but last night was bad, man. We have this with Scott every once in a while. And this is part of the tough thing about being the franchise face is the buck stops with you, whether it's the winning or losing. You get the accolades if you're winning and you get triple doubles and you do badass things, Scott. But on the same thing, when you fail, you're the first person that gets pointed to also. And that's the thing you got to realize. That's part of the reason why your reputation and how you feel about yourself is, well, you need to fucking go and execute and do well. Then you won't have that shit show barrage of what you might be facing this morning from people like me. And I'm trying to be fair. There's going to be toxic people that are going to be absolutely awful. You can ask Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, all the years of the Raptors, when he succeeded, boy, we loved him. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest ever. But also when he failed, boy, did they people come after him toxically. And in some ways, I hate that this may be happening to you today. In some ways, I don't know. I'm trying not to do it toxically. I'm trying to do it fairly. But I'm also crying out to you, man, and saying, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Don't waste it, is what I'm saying right now. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Bryce is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak. Good morning to Bryce Dawson. Raptor Freak Bryce, we haven't seen you a bit. Hope everything's good for you down in Kentucky, my guy. Let's not overreact. We all know what that season was going to be before it started. Not disappointed at all with what I see. I just want to see them win, lose, healthy. All right, I like Bryce coming in. I'm going to give him a dunk because he's being the positive Raptors freak that I need to hear on the moment like this. 95, you got a year that we started now, Bryce, a 5-pointer for you this morning. Yeah, all right. You want me to stick to the plan and understand this is what we're doing this year and it's okay and to not get mad about it. All right. But also my outrage is still the competitive Raptor fan in me that wants to see better winning days for us. And I thought we should have had one yesterday. So I don't know. I'm trying to balance it with, all right, stay on the plan. It's okay. This is what we were expecting to see. Nameless to say, they probably said to Scott, how would you like to play with Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey for the foreseeable future? Yay or nay? I mean, if that's what it is, Scott, you need to do better about fucking up, because honestly, you did not do a good job fucking up last night. You made it very apparent. Maybe they were doing so well that they were beating them too good that I don't know how to suss this all out in the right way. Some ways I feel like we're being gaslighted as Raptors fans right now by our own team. Seriously. Seymour saying we're wasting a lot of money on players who ain't playing or contributing to winning. Yeah, I mean, I can't look at it that way. I mean, there's waste everywhere in this world. There's so much waste. It's so stupid in all kinds of different places in the world, whether it's wasting food, people wasting money on convenience by, door dashing their food all the time or stuff like that. There's all kinds of waste in this world. If we get some entertainment and pleasure from the distraction of the NBA and the Toronto Raptors, then it's not a waste to me. But in some ways, I'm in the state of mind that I'm in because of the game last night also. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying my comment is just regarding last night about Scotty. He just consistently comes across like a child. Well, it's true. He is childish in certain ways, but he is growing up and he's maturing a lot faster. He really, really is. I don't know. In some ways, something just doesn't add up right about last night. The intentions that were behind what happened yesterday, whether it's the management as far as our front office and the decisions with health, or the decisions by Scotty himself personally or Darko at the end of the game, something's not adding up. Something is not right in everything that's going on right now. And I hate to think that the front office is manipulating our win-loss record this year. They should just let Darko do what he's supposed to do. And, in some ways, Darko seems like he doesn't have any control over the health of the players. He's like, I got to do what I can with who I have. So it may be that, in some ways, I still think that our injuries are too much and too common, that there's some guys that are not actually as hurt as they are, and they should probably be playing, honestly, is what I'm saying. Let's see. Seymour's got an angry face. Carlos saying this may be intentional after all. I mean, the signs are showing of it, honestly. Like last night really made me believe that we are trying to lose on purpose. It seriously did. Smooth saying when the team wins, it's charming and cute, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Monique saying, in Masai we trust. Masai sat upstairs last night with his crew. Okay, well, maybe he was smiling at the end of the game. Somebody go check in what Masai was doing at the end of the game. Was he smiling at the end of the game? Oh, man. Either way. Stargate saying it's about creating a culture even if you lose games. All I heard last night from others in spaces last night was excuses about young players, rookies, second rounders, when that's not the point. Yeah. No, I agree with this, Stargate. This is a game we should have won last night. I'm sorry. We're a better team. We're better talent. This team was ripe to get beat. They had not been winning very well recently. We did a leg up to help Jordy in the Nets. In some ways, at the end of the game, when Darko embraced Jordy, and that was interesting. The first ever game in NBA history where two European coaches went against each other. That seems really crazy to me that hadn't happened yet. But I guess that just speaks to how few European coaches have actually coached at the NBA level so far. There really have only been a handful. And the fact that Jordy and Darko made that history last night was kind of cool in some ways. But yeah, at the end of the game, Darko was very warm towards Jordy. And in some ways, he didn't seem as pissed off that he had just lost to him as I wanted him to. Jordy was very combative with the refs all last night. And I love that. He's our Team Canada coach. And Savannah, shame on you for saying former Canada coach, because in the pregame scrum before the game, Jordy made it very clear he wants to continue to coach Team Canada, and that hopefully he will continue to be Team Canada's coach. Yes, Savannah, shame on you for saying former Team Canada coach. We don't know what his future is with us, and he could very well be just still the coach. So don't put that stuff out there, Miss Hamilton. I love you a lot, but you don't need to do that. And then also Sportsnet, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Spelling our great Canadian coach's name in the graphic before the game, calling him Jody Fernandez. Like, seriously, have some respect. That man helped coach us to a World Cup bronze and the Canada team to the Olympics for the first time in a long, long time. And in some ways, I took that as Sportsnet people just not doing their fucking job correctly, being idiots, inept for, misspelling Jordy's name in the intro before the game. Yeah, idiots. Get it right, you baseball company, Rogers, you fuck faces, man. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying you have to consider maybe he can't be a leader. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like him to be a leader by example as far as like, look, I don't know what kind of leader Scott's got to be. Is he a vibes leader? Is he just like, I just want to be for my ego, I'm the leader, but I'm not really going to do the work that is a leader needs to do? Because in some ways, that's what it feels like. There's like Scotty really wants to be the franchise face. He likes the idea of it, but maybe he doesn't understand what the job takes and what he exactly has to do himself. That's the thing, Scott. You can't have all the glory and say, this is my team, I'm the franchise face, which Masai wants you to be because you're invested in and you're the top dog and you should be like this. But, you can walk the walk, but you can talk the talk. But if you don't walk the walk, you're not the leader. You're not the leader. And that's the thing, bro. You have to be the leader. You can't just be it by title. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people out there that are leaders, CEOs, but they're not actually leading anything. They're just fucking taking the accolades and the glory of being in that position. And I don't want you to be one of those people, Scott. I don't want you to be one of those people. Blackhawks saying when the coach doesn't prioritize his shooters, the result will be a loss. Doesn't matter if it's Scotty or RJ. When Darko runs players for Grady, when you don't have IQ, then the wins will come. I really wanted Grady to take over and be a big-time shooter in the end of the game. He has clutch factor. He showed clutch against Chicago. He hit a big three near the end of the game on Monday. It was very, very helpful. And I want to discover more of that. So why is the water shut off on the ball going to Grady in the last 5 minutes of the game? That's a problem right there. That's on Scott and that's on Darko. That's on those two guys right there. Right there. That's what I'm saying. Trevor's saying, I'm going to New York tomorrow for Raptors versus New York for Christmas. Okay, Trevor's going to be in the house for an MSG game on Monday. And apparently Vince Carter will be there also, calling the game with Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin in the booth for the Raptors. Hopefully he's on the home side and he doesn't just kick us while we're down right now. Because honestly, we're at the lowest point we've been in this whole entire season right now. And in some ways, we lose to Fred on Sunday, then we lose to OG on Monday, and Vince is on our broadcast cackling about it. I'm going to be like, fuck you, Vince Carter. I don't want you on our broadcast. So come correct, Vince. Don't come in and be very sensitive to hurting Raptors fans right now because we're in a bad place right now. And if you get too like glazing on the Knicks and how great they are and the NBA life and all this stuff, and like kind of like, you know what I mean. You better really watch how you call this game on Monday. I'm telling you, Vince, because it could go two ways if you're not careful. It could go two ways. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Nameless is saying this was a 4-point game in the race to the bottom. Obviously, Toronto was going to throw it. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't want to believe that we're not trying to do better than last year, and we don't care about being in the bottom of the Atlantic Division. Because honestly, I'd like to overtake Brooklyn by the end of the year, but maybe that's exactly not what the Raptors front office wants. That they want to be absolutely one of the worst teams in the East, and they want to compete with the Wizards more than they want to compete with getting a play-in spot or being above some teams somewhere in the standings. Either way, if it's going to be like this for the rest of the season, this sucks because it was like the second half of last season, and this whole entire season will be like this. And we're not fucking competing in the right way at all. It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Let's see. Nameless is saying, okay. Bryce is saying, Lex, please no politics, please. Bryce, I'm going to talk politics if I want to. I'm sorry. I won't be muzzled on this. I'm saying that in some ways I'm going to stop paying attention because the fucking politics are so horrible right now. And maybe I won't talk about it as much. But nah, don't tell me what I can and can't say on my channel, because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. There's been a couple of people that have been kind of toxic around this channel. I'm not saying you, Bryce, but there's been some people that have been toxic on this channel recently, and I've had to let them go, and I have no remorse about it. And honestly, seriously, I'm a niche channel, and some people may not like me for that, and some people don't want to watch me. They don't have to, because I'm not for everyone. I'm not trying to catch a wide net of millions of people. I don't care. I'm doing this channel the way I got to do it and the way Lex is going to do it. And, in some ways, I don't want to talk about politics right now because it's disgusting, gross, dystopian. The things that Elon Musk is doing to the government in the United States is absolutely deplorable. There's a lot of civil servants that aren't going to get paid this Christmas just because he wanted to fuck around. And in some ways, this dude is not American. This dude should not have so much power over the American government right now. And it is really just a sad, pathetic old man named Trump that's going to allow him to do this. But at some point, I could see Trump and Musk having a civil war, and the divorce will happen, and it'll be ugly. And that might be very entertaining and interesting to see Trump versus Musk at some point, because it's inevitable. Trump has had a versus against every single person that's been close to him, whether it's his Vice President Pence or whoever it is. And you know what? I never thought I'd see the day that I actually really like Mitch McConnell. Because at this point, Mitch McConnell is the sane one and not the absolutely evil senator from your state. In some ways, he's one of the last bastions to save democracy at this point, honestly. Bryce, I know you're a good kid, and I'll try and limit my politics, but please don't tell me what to do on my channel. How about that? Blackhawk saying front office did its part by putting shooters on this team. It's time for Darko to prove he knows how to use them. Yeah, I love Jameson out there. There was a weird point in the game where Jameson Battle and Grady Dick did a two-man game on the side there, and it didn't really come to fruition. Grady missed the layup, but that was really cool to see. Battle and Dick kind of like playing off each other because they're such good three-point threats, the two of them. I really do want to see more of them, and I like what Blackhawk is saying about utilizing Grady and Jameson more. I really do like that. Yeah, Stargate saying I agree with 100%, but I don't think it's Scotty's fault. I believe he's still hurt. Plus, I think there is something personal off the court going on. This is something bigger than Scott. I don't think Scotty's hurt. I think you're wrong on that one. Now, the stuff about personal distractions may be true. I mean, if Scotty has a new bundle of joy, a little baby, there could very well be a lot of personal distractions going on with him. In fact, I thought it was very weird that, once again, I'm going to say this, Scotty didn't seem to be on the court for the game against Chicago, that he was not present in the arena. I don't remember seeing him in street clothes on the bench, and that he could have been somewhere dealing with family stuff or his baby or something like that. It could very well be that he is very distracted as a new young dad, and that he is trying to do stuff for his kid or spend time with his kid, and that is kind of taken away from his attention. And I would think that is the most likely thing out of anything that's going on with him personally outside the game, is that it is a baby. It's a baby. And that's probably true right there. I think that's probably true. But in some ways, he should be able to balance this. If you got Garrett Temple there, bro. Come on. You can go talk to him about being a family man and balancing your family life with your NBA life and still keeping the professional level. Yeah, I don't know. You may be right. I don't know. I want to believe Scott is honorable and just in all kinds of ways, because he does seem like that kid. I really do. He did say, they asked him about the game, Chicago game, and he did say he was watching it, and he thought that we should have won that game. Well, I was wondering where you were, man. Where were you? You weren't on the bench. I was wondering about that. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Tough loss. Should have been a dub. Lost opportunity. Scotty's passion is playmaking, passing. He don't have that hunger wanting to take shots over and over. RJ Grady loved taking shots. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with you on that. I am. I really am with you on that, Cool Cat. As far as that's a pretty astute, everything you're saying right there. Lost opportunity for sure. Should have been a dub. Scotty's passion is playmaking, but not trying to take over the game and make shots. And I hate that. In some ways, I wish you could turn that switch and go do it. Go do it, Scott. Just do it, man. Just turn on that switch and call your own number. But not in the way you did it last night. You did it in a very inefficient way when you called your number last night, because you forced a ball and you got an offensive foul and you missed a three where you should have passed it to Grady. Fiercely saying, chill, Lex. It has nothing to do with purple jerseys. Laugh out loud. We lost winnable games with white, black, or red jerseys. No, listen, I'm very superstitious. I have a couple of OCD rituals I do before the game days to help them try and win. I've given up on a lot of them because in some ways this year's been freeing as far as like, okay, Lex, you don't need to do these little rituals because obviously they're not working. But the one thing I will stand on is the Raptors wearing purple is losing. It just always has been. And that when we introduced purple motif for the 30th anniversary season, I knew this was going to happen. It wasn't just that I knew that partly this is a rebuilding year. It's just also when purple's around, the Raptors lose. And I hate that. I think that the 2010s were the most successful decade of the Raptors. Is true. Their win percentage was so good. And what was their primary color? And how often did they wear purple? So I'm going to stand on this. Some people can be so purple and they love purple this, purple that, but I fucking hate it because it's expansion purple for me from when we were the very beginning team and we were losing a lot, having 20-win seasons. Well, purple gets you 20-win seasons, Fiercey, is what I'm going to say over and over again. You can say that it has nothing to do with it, but to an old head like me that checks the stats as far as like red versus purple, yeah, purple's a losing color for the Raptors. And I don't want to have anything to do with it permanently for the future. And people that are pushing for it right now, shut the fuck up because then we will become the Washington Wizards. Seriously. Then we will. We'll become a perennially at the bottom of the standings team for a long time. I really do feel that. I really do. Smooth saying, no, Lex, the purple looks good. It's great. Best looking jerseys in court in the NBA. It's great to revisit. And I'm not saying it doesn't look great, but I don't like it because we lose when we wear purple. I'm sorry. We just do. And y'all can disagree with me on this. This is a personal choice. You guys can have your own feelings about purple, but this Raptors freak, this guy who's been around the team for the whole 30 years hates the purple color. Absolutely hates it. And that's why I wear purple when we lose games in really bad, shitty ways. If I'm wearing this hat, that means we had a bad game last night. That's just the damn truth. And me wearing a purple shirt, well, that means I'm pissed with a team, and I think that they did poorly. If you see me wearing red or black, I'm pretty in good mood. But if I'm wearing purple, I'm pissed. And that's what I'm saying right now. It's just my own personal association with it. I don't mind the nostalgia. It's the 30th anniversary year, but we're the 31st year. Purple has no business on our courts next year. I'm going to say that right now. And if they do a total rebrand and make it purple, well, you're just making your bed for yourself, MLSE. You're just making your bed for yourself, honestly. And you know what? It'll be 20-win seasons for like as long as we have purple. Seriously, I'm not gonna lie. I really do believe this. Y'all can think you're crazy, Lex. It's just a color. It has nothing to do with it. No, just trust me on this. In sports, we can get superstitious. People can get really superstitious about things. And this is something I'm superstitious about. That purple has no business being the regular main color of the modern Raptors. It's fine to go and revisit in 30th anniversary year, but not as a normal color going forward. Black and red are our colors, y'all. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. That's just how I feel personally. MLC can ignore me. They can go ahead and rebrand it with purple. And, well, we'll see if Lex is right in 10 years from now. Seriously, y'all really want to be like this, the way we are this year for like a decade? Go ahead and ask for a purple rebrand, motherfuckers. That's what I'll say about that. Excuse my French. I'm just really passionate this morning. And I'm not really trying to call you guys motherfuckers. I'm sorry. Let's see. Blackhawk saying, Masai and Bobby are not responsible for Yak not playing. Let's take it down a notch. Groin injuries are painful. I'm not putting Yak and RJ in last night's loss. It's on us. You know, Jakob was fine. He was sitting on the bench. He could have played. I'm sorry. You know, they do this. If there's any kind of incident in a game that looks like somebody got hurt, they will make them sit for at least one game on purpose. Seriously. It may very well be in the old NBA. A groin pull like Jakob had doesn't miss any games. I'm serious. There was optically an incident where he did the splits and he hurt his groin and he fell to the ground for a little bit and maybe milked it up a little bit. And then, you know, because he's sitting on the bench, he looked fine to me. And it may not be an apparent injury. He looked happy. He looked healthy. He looked like he could play last night. Seriously. When I saw him, they showed him on the bench. I'm just saying, who knows? Maybe in the era of Barkley and Oakley and Jordan and all them back in the day, nobody misses a game because of what happened to Jakob. It just looks so appealingly like, oh, you got hurt. In some ways, it's like over dramatized. Some of these old players would not miss a beat with this kind of stuff. Some of them wouldn't even come out of the game after something like that. They continue to just play with the pulled groin during the game. That's what I'm saying. It's a different era. And if there's optically an injury, they're going to go ahead and milk it and let the guy sit for a while. And it may not even be that serious. And I don't think Jakob's injury is that serious. I'm just saying. That's how I feel about it. Wayne's saying the change in energy was obvious. Raptors went up 6 or 8 points, and the energy just dropped, and there was no urgency to kill the opponents. It was there to see. As bad as Bruno is, he should play. Yeah, yeah, it was palpable. It was obvious. Wayne's exactly right here. You could tell the Raptors turned the switch off for some reason all of a sudden. And in some ways, I don't know if it was collectively decided or it was designated by Scott or Darko, because those two guys had the keys to the car mostly. If Scotty's going to control the ball on the court and the other guys are just waiting to get the ball, Grady can't do anything if he doesn't get the ball passed to him. So it's fishy as hell. I felt the exact same thing that Wayne felt during that game last night at that point in time. Wayne's going to get it done. Because honestly, I know exactly what he's talking about. And if we all felt it in the middle of the game, at that point in the game, well, something's wrong. Why did the floor fall out from underneath us? Seriously, 175 for Wayne Strainer on the dunk charts there. Name was saying that young man needs counseling. Laugh out loud. For Claxton, oh yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying it was an intentional loss. I could see that. All right, thank you, Mo, for the cutoff. We'll see how long we hang around in here and see what's going on in here. No. Where did I miss? Let's see. Where there's so many comments, man. I got to figure it out. Here we go. Blackhawk. I tip my hat to the Nets. They played through adversity. Yeah, they did. Let me go look at them for a sec. I want to go ahead and give them some shine on the other side. I'm not going to give much shine to many of them. I mean, Cameron Johnson is phenomenal. 33 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 11 of 12 at the free throw line. That was really, really good. Like they were saying, he really cares about shooting and he really studies shooting. Well, it shows. 10 rebounds, 6 assists, just a fantastic player. And he was the best player on the court last night. I should be saying Scotty was the best player on the court last night, but I'm saying Cameron Johnson was. Off the bench, Shake Milton was active and he was a factor. Noah Clowney missed a lot of shots, and I was like all about Noah Clowney taking shots. I was like, yeah, keep shooting. I'm all about it. I mean, the Nets shot so badly last night. We had no business losing to them. They shot so bad last night. It's not like they were that great overall. Most of their team was not good. There were just a couple of guys that did really well, like Cameron Johnson, and that was enough for them to beat us. That's pretty sad, honestly. That's pretty sad. So kudos to Cameron Johnson, man. Yeah, Cameron Johnson. Yeah, let's see. Carlos saying 100% Scotty lost this game. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Name was saying one thing is very obvious. We are so desperate for depth at the center position. I know, and a lot of people are talking about trading Jakob right now. I think that's a big mistake. We can't afford to do that. And in some ways, we see just how much his absence is gone. We're an undersized team, and we just don't have an ability to compete around the basket without him out there. I'm sorry, Mobo. You're not a true center. And it's just, in some ways, this has been a knock on the roster build of Masai and Bobby for about 4 years that we have no center depth. We really haven't. And I don't know why y'all punt that position as far as not trying to stack big players. Around the league, I see teams like Cleveland and other teams get all these tall guys that they have on their team, and they have just a pantry full of guys and supply to come in after everything. And I don't understand why we've never been able to get that luxury. Is this a rule for the Canadian team on the download, the NBA, that said you guys can only have one center? You're only allowed to have one center on your team, one true center. Because it seems like we've had this rule for about 5 years. And if I'm going to knock the front office, I'll knock them for this. I'll knock Bobby and Masai for why the fuck do we have no front court depth? Seriously. And losing to the Nets makes me sick also. That's right. It's a watermark gauge. Like, where are we in our franchise right now? We just lost to the Nets without Dennis Schroeder, and they are not a good team. And that is where we're at. That's horrible. That's a really, really bad place to check on what we're doing right now. Really, really bad. The Blackhawks saying Bruno can throw his weight around better than Day'Ron. I agree. Bruno would have been useful. Exactly. Day'Ron Sharp was bullying us all over the place and just having his way. And in some ways, that is something where I'll criticize Darko, is recognize that we're getting bullied by weight and strength, and go get Bruno to balance that weight. I mean, seriously, this is not tough coaching, Darko, or is this part of the instruction for how to lose a game on the down low? Seriously, is this part of it? I mean, I don't know. The Tampa season it feels like right now The Tampa season with Alex Len and Aaron Baines is feeling like right now. It's the same kind of shit that is going on right now. So y'all are trying to get another Scotty, obviously, is what you're trying to do, Masai, is what it seems like right now. Smooth saying, keep calm, Lex. A top 5 to 10 lottery pick equals 50+ wins. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep my eyes on the prize and hope for the light at the end of the tunnel. But I just hate this. I mean, this is a reaction. I got to react to the game last night, and I have a lot of anger about the game last night. I really, really do. I really, really got mad after the game last night. A lot of the games this year when we've lost, I have not. I've been at peace. I've been okay with it, but not this week. Both these games this week have been absolutely dreadful losses that the Raptors should have won. They had every chance to win against Chicago and Brooklyn last night. That's right. Most saying Scotty needs to be better. We need to be better and aggressive. Completely agree, Mo. And I'm going to give you a dunk for that one. Monique is getting a dunk for that. Scotty needs to be better. And she's exactly right. The super fan is calling you out, Scotty. 250 for Monique, another 5-pointer for her, 250 dunks in the year of 2024. Smooth saying at this point, they're so bad that they got to keep going. I know. In some ways, that's true. And I hate that. I mean, the revolving door of injuries has never allowed them a proper chance to actually show what they could be this year at full strength. And I hate it. I hate it so much. And I don't even feel like it's totally the injuries. I feel like it's manipulated to a degree. Seriously, it's not that we just have bad luck. It's that they're looking for this to happen so that they can shape the team this way for the whole entire season. In some ways, that's devious, deceitful. And in some ways, if the front office really did have this master plan on the down low in secrecy behind closed doors, fuck you, Masai. Seriously, I'll say that. I don't say fuck you, Masai, very often, but I'll say that right now. I'll say that. Purposeful is bullshit. Nameless saying Bruno doesn't count. He's undersized. That's bullshit. You know, he does count. He is a true center size, and he can handle big centers. He has already in his career. He's not going to be great on offense. He's going to be a little slow, but he can at least hold weight and holding guys away from the rim and not just coming in and dunking on us when nobody's there. That is at least what he can do. That is the very bare minimum that what he can do. And he can even get more rebounds in some ways than what we were doing last night. Carlos saying Bruno's bigger and beefier than Mobo. That stinks intentional. Yeah. Bruno has more experience and more time. He's played against all these Nets guys. Jonathan's barely played against them. He played them in preseason one game. He does not know their personnel. He does not know their tendencies. Bruno Fernando has experience against Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nicholas Claxton, and Day'Ron Sharpe. That is a difference. Having experience against players and already kind of knowing them matters, y'all. It really, really does. Really, really does. Yeah, Smooth saying just from that perspective, being physical, Bruno is that at least. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And name is saying Bruno and Mobo couldn't stop Edie together. That may be true, but that may be more because he's an extra height on top of them. But who knows? We'll have to see. I'll bet you Bruno will have to play against Memphis. You know, Bruno may very well have to play against Houston on Sunday because of their size. In some ways, the Raptors need to be bigger. We need to be bigger overall. And the sad thing is our second biggest player on our whole entire team is our point guard leader, Scotty Barnes. And that doesn't make no sense because he's going to want to play point guard. He's not going to be down low helping with the rebounds and doing the low post defense for the most part because he's busy having to play guard stuff. So it's confusing. It's confusing in some ways. Let's see. Name is saying on his one on his leg, the other on his back. One on his leg and the other on his back. Carlos saying, I'm going to still be calm. Them top 10 rookies coming in are all good, but Scotty's perception league-wide is going down the drain with shit like the last 5 minutes last night. For sure. This is part of like the thing I hate is, Scotty, I love you, man, and I want you to have a good reputation around the league, but a casual NBA fan sees the highlights and things like that, and they think you're a fraud. They come back and they say Scotty should have never been rookie of the year, as much as I said Ben Simmons should have been rookie of the year when he was. You know, there's a lot of things that backlash on you for being a failure in some ways. And Scott, you were a failure last night. And in some ways, that is not good for your public perception league wide. In some ways, you're not making a case for being an all-star in a game like last night. That's for damn sure. Smooth saying last night was the first night that I saw the Raptors were trying to lose, and they did. I know. If they were trying to hide losing, they did a good job up until now. Because they made it real close and they did really good job. And I could actually tell the story of the game where it's like, well, this is why they lost, whether it's the refs, whether it's the excellence of the other team overcoming us. But this is not a team that should have overcame us last night. And whoever lost Cameron Johnson so much in the defensive assignments at the end of the game, especially that 3, you really fucked up. I don't know who was supposed to guard him when he took that last 3, but you really messed up when you let him get that dagger so wide open. That may have been, like Alvin said, one of the easiest shots that Cameron Johnson took the whole night was that last 3 he made. Yeah, Carlos saying, but this is Scotty's MO, though. He doesn't play well after a break like he had. He'll be fine. Yeah, you know what will probably happen, and this is something Nick Nurse noted because at the beginning of the season, this happened. We had our first game of the season against Cleveland, and Scotty stunk the bed. And I had a similar stream the next day, like I'm doing one today, where I was like going off and say, Scotty, if you want to be one of the leaders in the league, you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And you should have beat Cleveland last night. Little did I know Cleveland was going to be juggernaut and win like their first 15 games almost. But the first game against us, I was like, yeah, if you want to be better, you got to be better than Evan Mobley. You got to be better than Donovan Mitchell and be the best player on the court. It was a similar kind of rant that I'm doing this morning. Now, think about it this way. That was against Cleveland, and where they are in the league right now with their record and how well they've done this year, that's something. But now it's against the Nets, and I'm saying the same damn thing. And then take out Evan Mobley and put in Cameron Johnson's name instead. That's messed up. That's messed up. Now, Nick said when they played the Sixers in the second game of the season that he expected Scotty to come out and kill them because of the bad game he had against the Cavs. So let's see if Scotty comes out and kills the Rockets on Sunday, because he's hearing the noise today, like from me and other places in social media and everywhere. And he's like, fuck this. I'm going to come out and prove them wrong, and I'm going to kick the Rockets' ass. That could very well be true, and the pattern may hold. I think Carlo's right that could very well be what happens. That could be 100%. We'll see. Fiercely saying, in the corporate world, when you see there are no more challenges nor incentives to work, you plan your exit. Some players may already have their strategy lined up. Man, I don't even want to start saying shit like this, Fiercely. I know that I said some things earlier in this stream, but I'm just trying to read the room and be rightful or truthful in what I see. But I don't want to believe this. In some ways, they've got to give the ability for the Raptors to right the ship before they start writing their exits. Seriously. And in some ways, this is just following the whole the trope of the years before, where Raptors players come here and they just put their time in like Bosch and they get out when they can. And I don't want that shit to happen. I really, really don't want that shit to happen. In some ways, that's why we need to be more successful and get good vibes, is because the good vibes will lend people to be more emotionally attached to the city as players and want to play here longer. If they lose over and over again, they don't have any attachment to that. And they will probably look for the reasons to leave and get the fuck out of here when free agency hits. And that's the thing that pisses me off. That's the thing that Raptors fans need to understand in a rebuild. It's difficult to rebuild because in some ways you have to keep bringing players in. And if they don't stick around in reps because they get the opportunities to leave because of free agency, well, then you have to, keep trying to change it. So we'll just have to see. The management is tough. And in some ways we can't afford to lose on purpose for a draft pick, because in some ways we may be losing draft picks that we already got and we developed along further that are going to walk because of the losing. That's what we have to understand, tank commander idiots. They're one tanking is what I'm saying right now. That's what I'm saying right there. Kareem saying this product is not good whatsoever, especially when we got big time money wrapped up in contracts. Yeah, I don't look at the money. The money doesn't matter. And money in this world today is so stupid. There's so much money spent on defense spending in the U.S. that is absolutely wasted. There's so much money spent in all kinds of different areas, and people making money that they don't deserve at the top that have absolutely crazy ballooning bank statements at this point. So in some ways, I don't care if we pay Emmanuel Quickley $30 million to sit on the bench. In some ways, the money is not a matter of it. It's just a necessary evil in the whole system. But I'm not going to look at it and say, oh, we're wasting our time with these guys. We're paying them all this money, and we're not getting anything on return. Who cares? This is the NBA. This has always been this way. And they've paid Kawhi Leonard so much money for how many games in the last few years? Ben Simmons for how many games in the last few years? Yeah, I'm not going to get upset about this, Kareem. All due respect. Smooth and Nets were trying to lose as well. Then Cam said, fuck it. I'm getting my stats to get paid. That's a funny comment, Reggie, that you actually think that Jordy and them were trying to lose on purpose too. I don't think that's true. I think that the Nets have overperformed this year so far, and they have way more wins than they should right now. And that's a testament to Jordy Fernandez getting a very not talented team to do way better. And there's a lot of comparisons between the Nets and the Raptors this season that we're both teams that fight and play real scrappy and make it hard for the other team at least, if not win. And, I don't think that's true. You look at Jordy's passion on the court, and in some ways, the Nets are just not a very good team. And yeah, Cameron Johnson rose up and won it at the end for sure. So I don't know if they were actually trying to tank, honestly. I think we were, though. Yeah. Let's see. Carlos saying, same as Ben, he realized it's contract year and he got his season high of 14 points. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, when they were saying that during the broadcast, Matt Devlin at one point said Ben Simmons is 2 points away from his season high of 14 this year. I literally laughed at that moment. I think a lot of y'all did when you heard that line come out of Matt Devlin's voice and announcing the game. It was pretty crazy. So he's saying fiercely, in the corporate world, this is an everyday thing. Yeah, in some ways, that world is messed up, is what I'm saying. There's no rhyme or reason in it. Let's see. It's only for about the bottom line is what it is. Fierce saying, ditto, everyone. NBA Chef said RJ working for his next contract as well. We can be jaded and cynical and just think everybody's driven just by the passion for money. But I don't want to live in that world. And you know what? Contract years do matter in the NBA. It's obvious. Guys will play a certain way. But look at Gary Trent. He was in a contract year, and he couldn't do it physically, and he couldn't make it happen. I don't want to think that – I don't think RJ's in a contract year. I think he's under contract with us next year too, guys. I don't think he's actually in a contract year. So in some ways, that doesn't really fall with this example. None of our guys are in a contract year. None of them are, really. We have pretty much our core next year all under contract next year, guys, just so you know. Let's see. Carlos saying, keep our chin up, fellow freaks. It's always darkest before the dawn. Yes, I like that. And maybe we'll beat Houston on Sunday, and I'll be like, woohoo! I'll be feeling so good on Monday morning. We'll have to see. Fiercely saying, yes, Smooth, it is. I'm currently in a situation where I'd like to change, and I'm looking at my options. It's a natural course of actions. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, you got to do what you got to do. But let's not look at it from the player's position and perspective like this. We can't get it twisted. These guys make millions of dollars to play a game, and there's limited spots and there's limited places. And in some ways, somebody's going to have to be in those limited spots and limited places in Toronto. And, you can't be thinking like, oh, I got to get the hell out of here because it's this way. No, I don't think these guys are thinking that way necessarily. It's just that, the jadedness of losing a lot is tough and tough for people to deal with. And that's part of the problem right there. I think that these guys, if they were winning, it'd be a lot easier. And that's the thing we got to worry about right now. Charlie Knockout's here. Can you explain the free throw difference in the G League? Sure, Charlie Knockout. Good morning to you, sir. And welcome to the NBA, the Raptor Freak channel. We are here every morning, 9:30 live, and I read most of the comments. And thank you for the subscription. The difference is in the G League, for most of the game, you only get one free throw. They don't shoot multiple free throws. So if you get fouled on a three-point shot, they foul you, you go to the free throw line, and that free throw, that single free throw is worth 3 points. So if you step up and you brick your first free throw, you just lost 3 points for your team. And this has been very consistent for the Raptors 905 this whole entire season in G League so far this year, that they have been a very, very horrible free throw shooting team. In fact, they've shot 50%, 60% from the free throw line pretty consistently. Now, that's the problem. That free throw, normally, if you get fouled for a three-pointer in the NBA, you're taking 3 free throws, just like Grady did last night. And he got it was a 4-point play for Jacoby, actually. Jacoby got fouled. He made the 3, but he missed the free throw and didn't get the 4-point play. Well, you get fouled on a 3-point shot. You don't make it. You don't get 3 shots. You only get 1 shot, and it's worth 3 points. So if you miss that 1 free throw, you're throwing away 3 points. And it's the same for 2-pointers too. If you go in the basket, you get hacked, you go to the line, you're taking 1 free throw, and it counts for 2 points. So you can see where free throw shooting is even more important there. Some players get to the line, and they miss the first free throw, engage it, and then get the second one on a correction. You can't do this in this system. You have to be perfect and make the first one because you don't get the second one. That's the difference right there. Now, the one thing that it changes at 2 minutes to go in the game is they make them shoot all the free throws with 2 minutes to go. So it's only during most of the game up until the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter that rule is in effect. Now they're trying it out in G League, and they may add it to the NBA at some point. And the theory is that it'll expedite the time of the game to be shorter. if there's less free throws being shot. I hope I answered your question, Charlie. Good morning to you. Jillian's here. Hi, peeps. Hi, peeps. Hi, Lex. Hi, Joe. Good morning to Miss Moody. Back in the chat. Miss Moody, Miss Moody. Trevor's saying, NBA Chef said the players take to RJ's leadership on the court because it's to win. Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think that, listen, RJ is a good example of fierce determination against the odds, and that is great leadership. That's what I'll say right there. And if Scotty could get some of that rubbed off on him a little bit, it would benefit Scotty immensely. Let's just put it that way. All right, I'll do the Instagram stories first, since Trevor called it out. First, we got Slim Duck showing this internet personality guy getting his hair colored or something. It's weird. I don't even know this guy's name. He's Drewski. Drewski, that's the guy. I don't know. I know he's popular and famous with the young kids, but I have no idea why. He's just some weird bearded guy that does goofy stuff online. Drewski. And there's Chris showing that great play he had on his Instagram stories where he saved the ball from going out of bounds. Now, normally you don't want to save the ball on your end. This has been a trend in the NBA that's showing just how bad this league is getting, is that players are not fundamentally trained to not save the ball on their end of the court where their goal is, because that's a horrible play. That was taught to all young people when I was a kid, that you don't do that. But players do it like crazy nowadays, and it's not a big deal. I don't understand that. It's fundamentally bad basketball, because the percentages of giving the other team a transition basket going the other way is very high when you do that. But Chris did this in a very good way. He is just about to go out. He saved the ball to Mobo. And that was one of the coolest saves that I've seen the Raptors do this season, where Chris saved that ball. And then the play was really nice. Jonathan got it to Grady, and then Grady got the ball over to Oshai, and he made a three. So it was absolutely a great possession. Garrett Temple putting on blast his wife and his daughter, his beautiful girls. Very, very cute. Very, very cute. There's Zach Edey showing off the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Warriors 144-93. Yeah, you think we're going to be ready for the Grizzlies on Boxing Day? They just put 144 points on Steve Kerr's Golden State Warriors. Look out. Understand the grind. Go buy some Norman Powell gear. That stuff is going on. Let's see. I was really shocked that Davion didn't play last night. I was mad, actually. There was a game recently where Davion was questionable, but he did end up playing. And I hope that would be like that. Davion could have been just enough to get us to win the last night himself. Forget about switching Scotty out for RJ or having RJ or Yak. Davion Mitchell could have been a deciding factor to help the Raptors beat the Nets last night. Seriously, lots of shots of him on the bench last night wearing a Elvis shirt. It looks like he's wearing a Boss shirt, and it has Elvis on it. Very interesting. Grady coming in the game wearing his black jumpsuit, and also showing the purple warm-up shirt before the game. Jamal McGlure, more pictures of him at the mall from this weekend. I got a picture with Jamal McGlure, Dad. Very cool. And there's a picture of him in his Kentucky days, the big cat wearing 42. Let's see what else we got. Lloyd was at the game last night. He was in attendance at Scotiabank Arena watching Scotty and Jonathan play against Dayron. So, yeah, what about Lloyd? Has been in Toronto the last few days. Well, I hope it's not too cold for you, Lloyd, is what I'm saying. My guy, my dude. And there he is taking a picture an hour ago downtown. It looks like, I'm going to tell you where he is and what part of town. It looks like he's down right in the middle of Condo City, down near Liberty Village, or down near, yeah, it looks like he's in Liberty Village. So Lloyd is probably down near you, David, somewhere walking around. Let's see. 905, the Raptors got all these old throwback pictures on his. Jameson Battle showing off another team, another player. I don't know who that is. TJ Wall or something. Who knows? I don't even want to look at the 905 highlights. It was pretty bad. And Raptors, I don't want to look at your highlights from last night either. Charles Oakley celebrating Christmas. Thank you for all the birthday love yesterday for Charles. Everybody's saying happy birthday to Charles on his birthday yesterday. And Merry Christmas. He spent his birthday with Santa. So Charles Oakley was with Santa. Two old graybeards there. AJ Lawson with his media pictures from the Showcase Cup down in Orlando right now. There you go. Let's go, Raptors. There's your Instagram stories for today. Kind of low-key right now. Let's see. Jill's taking her agree. Charlie's agreeing. Fiercely saying Cam Johnson is a solid player. Remember, he is part of the package with Mikal Bridges to send them to New York in return for KD. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I remember he was on Phoenix for a while too, right? Wasn't Cam Johnson on Phoenix? He's not somebody that I saw coming up. The NBA didn't really promote him or anything, but it seems like they should, because he is becoming more of a marketable superstar. The last couple times we played the Nets, he has very definitely been their best player, and he is a very good scorer. So there's some marketing that maybe they need to put him on blast for a little bit. Seymour's saying, yep, to eye candy. And Seymour saying, whatever happened to Lucas Nogueira? Well, he played in the CBL in recent years. He was playing for Guelph, I believe, in the Guelph CBL team like 2 years ago. He's been around town and visited the Raptors a couple times too. So he's a upstanding alumni for Raptors, and he does come to Toronto every once in a while. But he played in the CBL 2 years ago. I remember he was on Guelph. G's here. Good to see G. I don't think they tried to lose. I think they stopped knowing how to win. Losing. Next year, I need to see winning efforts. There you go. I like what G's saying here. So he's trying to be positive. I don't think that they tried to lose. It's just that they didn't know what to do to win. Maybe. I mean, I want to believe what G's saying because in some ways that's the healthy thing to say. But it's tough, man. There's a lot of us who are thinking that they really did lose on purpose last night. There's a lot of us thinking that, Masai. And if you're trying to do it with you're not doing a good job of putting on the charade if we're figuring it out. Yeah, Seymour's saying exactly. So he kind of agrees with G. You know what? I'm going to give G a dunk for a positive take on this and him playing. I don't think they just don't know how to win is what the problem is. And that could be true. I want to believe that G's right, even though I don't think he is. Carlos saying things are bleak in Raptors Nation right now. I have to play smooth jazz in the background to calm me down while watching you, Lex. Well, I'm sorry for yelling earlier. In fact, I yelled so much. My neighbor came outside and looked into my window to make sure I was okay. They came outside and looked into my cottage to see if I was okay here. Seriously, because they could hear me yelling, I guess. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Monique saying, despite the outcome, we'll stick together. Keep at it always, Lex. Go Raptors for life. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. On that note, let me just say the Coach's Open House has been opened up for registration. The date is January the 26th. Monique has signed up. I don't think I'm going to come because, first of all, the call time is 9 a.m. And to get down there on time and get in line for it with me from where I'm at this point is a real task. And also, we're doing the Raptor Freak going to the Valley Suns game on the 18th. It's a little too soon for 2 Raptor Freak hangouts for me right in a row. So I'm going to be passing on the Coach's Open House this year. But I encourage as many Raptor Freaks as possible to go down there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a Coach's Open House on January the 26th that's opened registration yesterday. And I've gone to the last 2. I went to the last one Nick did 2 years ago, and I went to the first one Darko did last year, and they're fantastic. They're basically coaches open houses where the coaches teach you things about coaching, and they have a full Raptors practice with the entire team right in front of you. So if you've ever wondered what a Raptors practice looks like, you can go and watch one on January 26th, and you'll see the entire team there. And you'll get to see Darko, and he'll answer questions. He actually does a question and answer. It was very cute. Evelyn came and brought a gift for Darko and gave it to him in the middle of the Coach's Open House last year. It was fantastic. I would go, but I live so far out of town, and it's such an early time to get there. It may be difficult for me to do Coach's Open Houses in the future, Monique, just so you know. But that's a fantastic event, and I highly recommend as many people going. It's so fun, and it's very, very much a good time, and it's free, y'all. So just register and come down there and check it out. But they want coaches to come down there. Don't come down there and just be a fan and be loud. Be respected, be respectable, and act like you have dignity like a coach would. And don't just come down there and be a party person. I would say that. Jill saying, hope RJ is back next game. He should be. I mean, the game's not for 2 days, and he has the sniffles. Come on, get the vitamin C, get the rest, and you should be back for Houston and Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. That's the other one there. Just got my 10:30 drink water. Thank you, Jill. It's 11:30, but I'm an hour late, but I'll do it. Oh, Jill, I needed you here. I've needed hydration for a while. I haven't had my water breaks in a while. Kareem saying Kelly throwing the ball off Battle's head was one of like 5 highlights yesterday. Guys, I feel like I'm slowly losing grasp of watching these games, but I'm a Raptors fan. Just fucking tired of the BS. I know. I saw you in the chat for a second on the 905 game, and it was such a shit show. It was like, yeah, I get it. I get why you're watching 90 Day Fiance and going on with your life. Otherwise, KT, I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah, that was actually off of Shed's head. He threw the ball off Shed's head, and that was just not paying attention. There was another moment where Kelly yelled Scott's name when he tried to do a little play to him, but Scott was not paying attention, and knowing that Kelly would throw the ball to him cutting through the lane, that was a mess up too that turned into a turnover. So, yeah, in some ways, these guys are on the same page and connecting with each other right. And maybe Kelly's part of it because he's been out and he just came back recently and he's not totally gelling with the guys as far as communication. And it's too bad. It's too bad. Wayne's saying, honestly, Scotty doesn't seem to be a student of the game. Tatum had that push off with the left hand habit and grew out of it due to foul calls against him. Scotty's developing that same habit. Stop it. I think that in some ways you can get away with it in certain games, especially at the end of the game, like that situation. But you really have to read the whistle. And the whistle was sensitive last night. And that may be just Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor's a very sensitive ref, and he called all kinds of stuff. We saw offensive fouls on both teams, wiping the ball as turnovers for both teams in different places. We saw weird travels too at times. So there were makeup calls happening. There'd be a call that was in favor of us, and then we go down the other way, and all of a sudden Ben Taylor's calling the opposite call that's inverse, and they're historically regular NBA makeup calls where the refs want to show that they're not favoring anybody, and they'll call the same call to both teams in succession, and that's what that is. There were a few of those last night. Now that push off was embellished by the defender falling back more, and it was so egregious that they had to call it because it was just so stark and open. In some ways, he's going to need some room, but that wasn't the right call. He was forcing things, and that's the problem. The whole thing is Barnes was forcing things at the end of the game instead of going with the flow of the game and trying to find the opportunity in what was given. And in some ways, if you try and force things, you get an offensive foul like that. That's what it is. Yeah, student of the game. That's right. Jill's saying Scotty not completely well, but he'll be okay. I don't think it's a physical thing. I think that he just had his first game back. And in some ways, Scotty's a human being. He's going to have up and down games. And he had a bad game last night. Well, his pattern is he'll have a bad game and he'll have a supremely good game the next game. So let's see how he does against the Rockets. I don't think he's physically hurt, y'all. He's not physically hurt. That's not what it is. G's saying this is why some of us thought building around Scotty now was too soon. Yeah, we had those worries, and we definitely talked about him on this channel. You can find them in the archives. To his defense, he came in as defense first and did not have an offensive bag. This is being forced, as well as making him a point guard. Yeah, I won't disagree with G on some of this. I don't know if he's being forced him being a point guard, though. But I think some of the stuff you're talking about is being a little forced and not really on the right schedule of natural progression. That we're kind of like quickening the pace. And in some ways, he maybe not have been totally ready. That's why I thought, Scotty, you show up, you need to learn as much as possible from Pascal, Fred, OG, and the rest of the older players on your team and really get under their wing. Now, I get it. You're under Garrett Temple's wing. You'll take his leadership, but why couldn't you take the leadership from the prior Raptors more and really learn the lessons from them? Is it a pride thing? Is it a thing that you just like, I can't learn from Fred? I don't want to learn from him. Why couldn't you learn more from Fred like Fred learned from Kyle? Because in some ways, that was the best recipe for your success is to take the things that Kyle Lowry taught Fred VanVleet and learn them yourself. That's the succession of things. The Spurs do this in their organization. They've had succession of teaching the next generation from the older generation. And in some ways, Scotty, you needed to be learning from the older generation before you became the face of the franchise. And in some ways, the lessons you should have learned before were not taken to the point where you're at right now. And that sucks. That sucks. Seymour saying hi to pickleball champ, Jillian. That's right. Carlos saying, good point, G. Masai and Bobby taking a risk on Scotty to develop into that leader. We also have to remember this is new to Scotty. Never in his career has he been the number one on any team. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he came off the bench his 1 year at Florida State. And even when he was younger, it's just like he's a very supremely talented physical specimen, but never really has the track record of being the man. And that's the thing that's scary about having him as our franchise face with everything in there. And that's why in some ways RJ's absolutely essential right now. Absolutely essential. Now, Emmanuel could be a factor in this whole leadership thing also and help smooth some of the gaps also. And that may be something that happens too. Carlos saying that good thing is RJ and IQ are those dogs, though. He just said exactly what I didn't even read it yet. We're saying the same thing. They need to play together. They will teach Scotty that killer instinct. Boom goes the dynamite. I'm going to give Carlo a dunk on this one because this is what I'm really hoping. Like I said, I want RJ and Emmanuel to rub off on Scott in winning ways. 104 for you, Carlo. You've broken the 100 barrier. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Wayne's saying, yep, Raptor freaks, we're not being critical, just stating the obvious. G and Carlo are correct. The most talented doesn't mean leadership quality. At this stage, we need leadership apart from Darko. Yeah, I can get behind this. It's interesting. We're doing a good job today of going through the loss last night and really parsing out what the fuck happened. And I think that we all have very good valid points from different directions, whether it's Nameless and what he's saying, whether it's G and what he's saying. And these are all valid, and I think they're all puzzle pieces that matter and what we're trying to figure out about what the fuck happened last night. Seriously. Carlos saying this may be the calculated risk Masai and Bobby are banking on. IQ and RJ teaching Scotty leadership. Scotty is a unique talent that size and vision just needs the mindset. He needs the drive. He needs the ability to recognize when he needs to go and do it. In some ways, it's not clicking there. We've seen weird stuff with Scott where he'll play like 3 quarters a game. He's not trying. And then in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, he'll just start trying. That was early on in his career. And then he started showing more progress of doing stuff all throughout the game. But at some point, he needs to start recognizing the opportunities and read the floor and see what he needs to do to help the Raptors have the best chance to win on whatever it is. And he's not exactly doing that right now. He definitely didn't do it last night. He did not. Carlos saying, I don't like Scotty living in the perimeter, but they may be trying to install that Kawhi-like offense in him better in the long term to have that shooting. I think in some ways it's the Raptors trying to fit in with the motif of the NBA's overimportance on the three-pointer. And then Darko, in some ways, it's like, yeah, we're going to need to shoot a lot of threes because that's the firepower and the way things are going in this league right now. And that's why he's saying, well, Scotty is one of my better three-point shooters. I need to give him the green light and tell him to shoot like 12 a game. I think that's part of it. In some ways, we're trying to fit in with the whole league, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I get it. It is a detriment if you're not a good three-point shooting team in today's NBA, and that you need to develop it to have the best chance to win, probably. But also at the same time, if you're trying to develop a team that's not a good three-point shooting team overall, and you're just shooting them like crazy and you're just missing a lot of them, what's the fucking point is what I'm saying. I don't know. Where's the balance in that is what I'm saying. Maybe it will help in the long term. I hope it does. I really do. Carlos saying, but again, these are our gambles. May or may not pan out, but I still believe in Scotty. This guy is a no-level scorer that developed to what he is now. Imagine 2 or 3 years down the line. Rant over. Yeah, I don't even think it's a rant. I think it's very good points, and I have no problem with anything you're saying. Yeah, his development has been on a very good exponential curve going up. And hopefully we can continue to see it go higher and higher with the ceiling. And like I said, some of the stuff may not be stuff he does in the game, but mindset stuff that he gets the increases in development, that he does become more like really giving a shit about winning and making winning plays more and more. And that may be part of the progress in the next couple of years on top of like some of the skill building he's already been doing. So we'll have to see. G. San Carlo agreed. Love Scotty. An offensive bag takes years to develop, and he is doing it as a franchise player. That's a lot, and maybe it was too soon, or maybe these reps will be the best thing. Yeah, I just don't want to lose people just because the process has gone so bad with a lot of negative losing and stuff. I don't want to lose people when we get to a good place just because, well, we had this time and we didn't get anywhere. The Vince Carter argument about why he wanted to leave, it sucks and it's scary because you don't want to go through periods where it's all confusing and messed up for a while. And in some ways, Scotty's whole career on the Raptors has been like this to a degree, other than the first year going to the playoffs and going out to the Sixers in the first year. Most of the years he's played for us have been confusing and not a lot of winning. And I don't like that. In some ways, that is not good for the future, is what I'm saying. Wayne saying Darko gives players leverage and he expects responsibility with that leverage. Lazy ass shots without running the plays are not good leveraging of the coach's confidence. Maturity matters in games. I say this for both the teams, the 905 and the Raptors. Coach Andrew Jones and Darko Rajakovic, both of you guys need to have a reward system on meritocracy. You guys need to reward the guys who are doing absolutely badass jobs and punish the guys who are not playing professionally. On the 905 level, you need to bench people that are not making their free throws consistently. You need to stop starting people that don't deserve it because they are not playing a team game with other guys and getting them involved. And on Darko's level, you need to really start giving people rotational minutes dependent on good play. And in some ways, I think you should do strategic lineups also for bigs, like we talked about with Bruno and Day'Ron Sharpe. But also at the same time, you should be giving rewards to people that do the things the right way and giving them more time and minutes And the people that aren't doing the things the right way, they need to be benched or getting their minutes cut. And I think that this is an issue right now, that maybe there's a couple of guys that are getting too much put on their plate without earning it, and they just consider they're going to keep getting it, and I don't like that. There needs to be meritocracy for the Raptors and the Raptors 905. And they need to give them like abilities to well, you didn't do this. And I'm sorry, I got to bench you. You get a DMP because you, in the last game, you absolutely failed on your assignments and you did not take care of your defensive assignment. And then you didn't score any points. So I'm sorry. This time we're going to play this player instead of you in the lineup. Now, when we're healthy, it's easier to punish people for not playing well and not giving them giving times. If you put them in the doghouse, it can work. You put them in the doghouse, it can work. It can light a fire on a guy's ass. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Carlos saying, we've seen it before. When you look at Lowry's early years, his attitude was ass. This guy bloomed into that leader winning a chips. But I really think it's fair for us to critique Scotty. Last night is very fair. In some ways, I don't think I'm going off on him in an unfair way. I feel like it's important for us to kind of let him know that look, dude, you can do so much better than this, man. You can do so much better than this. And I think Scotty's better than Lowry was at this point in his career as far as his attitude. Scotty has a fantastic attitude. Lowry really did have a bad attitude, and he did morph into something better. That's for sure. But part of it was that Lowry just really cared a lot, and he was misdirecting his energy. That's part of it. Wayne saying, okay, optimistic forecast. The average years of an NBA player are about 8 to 12 years. Oshai, Scotty, IQ, and RJ are teenagers. So the learning process is in progress, hopefully in the process. 100%, Wayne. Yeah, I mean, I'll be optimistic. I hope for good things in the future. I know good things will happen for the Raptors, but also we got to watch out for the pitfalls that could be possible also. Wayne saying, I'm no advocate for mediocrity, but Bruno is not that terrible a player where he can't get at least 3 minutes with Yak out and rookies doing okay. Bruno couldn't hurt us by playing. Purposeful loss. Yeah, I still don't get it. I mean, it goes against any kind of coaching sensibility that I have. Is that, when Yak got hurt and he couldn't play a last-minute scratch, you started Bruno. But then you pulled him as soon as Yak came back out. And as I said, on the game on Monday where Yak left, you should have inserted Bruno to replace him at the end of the Bulls game. And maybe Vucevic is not making bunnies near the basket because it's so easy. Because Bruno's putting an arm on his back and he's holding him outside of the free throw lane. Seriously. I mean, that's coach's X and O's 101 easy kindergarten kind of philosophy, Darko. Why the fuck wouldn't you replace Jakob with Bruno? I'm sorry. Jonathan is not a true center. It's just not. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. So he's saying front office wants to lose, hence no front court depth. I think that may be true. I mean, it's the same playbook that they did the year in Tampa. It's the exact same playbook. Aaron Baines was not a suitable replacement for Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. And it really made us flounder. And we had that is a very good way to tank games is don't stock your team with any front court. And I think you may be right. Seriously, why get depth when you want the lottery pick? Well, when are we going to get that depth up front? And how much are we going to lose? And how much are undersized players going to get hurt because they're playing bigger players in a mismatch? There's all kinds of problems with this. This shit happened in Tampa too. That when we played with no center and Pascal was playing center for us, guys were getting hurt because they're playing out of position. And I don't want that. I don't want that for this team. That's right. I don't want that. That's right. We have to accept this is a year of sacrifice. I mean, I said that about last year, and I wanted this year to be a little bit better. Either way, I want the Raptors to win. That's all I want. Carlos saying, and of course, we are in a rebuild. We are due to these disappointing losses. We have been spoiled with these competitive losses and moral victories. This is a rebuild. And that's an interesting perspective on this, that this is just par for the course. And we've been lucky with close games against good teams, and we felt good about them, moral victories. But this is not a moral victory. This is one of these ones where it's just okay, we're this bad. This is how bad we are. So we said, play whatever depth you have when the end game is the lottery pick. They want to lose. I'm starting to believe you guys more and more. They're saying this. Wayne saying, as Raptor freaks, we have to let the front office know that we're watching and we know the game, and performance like last night is unacceptable. That is our responsibility as Raptor freaks. Yes. And I hope that we hear interviews from them saying this better than what we did after the game last night. Oshai was very cordial and nice in his after-game interview. In some ways, I can't get mad at him. And he was just kind of talking to them, very run-of-the-mill questions. Scotty, in some ways, I want to see you be more upset about your performance and how things went down. How about that? Yeah. Fiercely said, coming back from a meeting and I hear, fuck you, Masai. Damn. I mean, I don't say that ever, but if you're doing something like this and you're putting all the Raptors fans through this on purpose for some sort of thing, it's twisted, man. And in some ways, that's why I said that. I regret saying that already. I regret getting so mad on the stream in some ways, but also at the same time, I need to get it out. I need to get it out. I mean, seriously. So he's saying it's a dangerous game they're playing, though. The psyche of a young player is such that when you lose them, they're gone. I know. That's why I don't like this. In some ways, teams that rebuild within winning still, like the Spurs did successfully for decades. Seriously, from the mid 90s, really, right up until like a couple years ago, the Spurs were able to keep a high level of play and making the playoffs every year by replenishing their team with talent coming in and rebuilding on the down low while they were still winning. And that's the kind of combination you want. And so you can rebuild and have the new blood coming up in your organization and not miss the playoffs. That's the thing that's pissing me off about this. You don't have to stoop so low to do this. And that's why I hate this right now. I hate this so much. Let's see. Stargate saying Shaq used to play with groin issues all the time, but everyone reacts differently to the injury, I guess. I'm just saying. I know that looked bad, that split, but that he didn't tear anything. And honestly, he ices that thing for a day or two. He's fine. And well, that happened on Monday. And last night was Thursday. And I really do feel like, well, they saw optically an injury. They can report it and say it's a strained groin. I think he could have played last night. I'm not going to lie. Right now, I'm going to say this again. I'll stand on what I said. Jakob Poeltl probably could have played last night. Seriously. Smith saying, all I have to say is that all the type with this year's lottery class better be real. I hope so, too. HC's here. Welcome back, HC. Good to see a lot of the Raptor freaks returning to see what old Lex is saying on a day after a game like last night. He said, I'm a fan of Scotty, but him always whining and rolling on the floor after every hit and play and still giving up when he does something wrong is so damn annoying. He's good, but damn. I know. I don't want to know. I want to think that this is just a symptom of his generation, and it's not necessarily his fault. Like, what if Scotty was a player in the 80s? He wouldn't be doing half this shit, and he may be a totally different kind of player because the bringing up an AAU is totally different back then. So I don't know. In some ways, this stuff does bug me too, HC. The fact that he is so – some people call him Softy Barnes because he gets hurt and he over-exaggerates pain. You know, he's a sensitive young man. It could very well be that he does feel the pain even stronger than everybody. And because he has such an expressive face, we really see it on him. But in some ways, people are clowning him for being such a when he gets hurt, kind of overreacting kind of thing. I don't know if it's overreacting. It could very well be he's very much in that kind of pain at that moment. But yeah, it's annoying because in some ways, going to be this way, like looking back at people on dunks and doing cocky ass shit. You're not backing it up with winning, Scott. And that's the problem. That's the thing that's missing here. If you want to be this guy in the NBA, well, that's an important ingredient for you to be that guy. I'm sorry. Wayne's saying some of us don't only live in the moment, but we look down the road. Is the Raptors prepared to pay RJ at the same level as IQ and Scotty when his production is at all-star level? We have to win. Well, he is paid at their level already. I mean, technically, Scotty is the highest paid player on our team, and Emmanuel's second, but RJ's right there next to them. The contract he's on right now is very high level, very, very high level. So he's getting paid pretty good already. Now, we'll have to see when contracts come up and see what happens then. Of course, that's always the scary time for a franchise and trying to retain good talent, and when their price may go up. So we'll have to see. But RJ's got a pretty good paycheck already right now. Yeah, Fiercey saying, oh, yes, the infamous close to his career high of 14 points. I was like, what? That was hilarious, wasn't it, Fiercey? At least there was some jokes during the game. Alvin was funny, too. Like, at one point, he was talking about something as like when a player nailed somebody with a forearm or something and nailed them. I forget which player he was saying. It was I think it was something like Tyrone Hill or something. He said, yeah, this guy, he nailed one of our players on our team. I'm not naming any names, Mike James. When Alvin did that shit, that was hilarious. And he brought Mike James, a great old Raptor, back into the conversation. Nobody's been talking about him much lately in the 30th anniversary. And I thought that was funny. I'm not naming any names, but Mike James. And then Matt Devlin was like, Alvin, who was the person that you didn't name any names? I said it, Matt. It was Mike James. At least Alvin's entertaining, and he's making me laugh during this game. I mean, most of the game was fun until the very end, and I saw how they crumbled. That was really bad. Stargate saying, what I need to see is Yak, Scotty, RJ, IQ, and Grady play together for a consistent and consecutive amount of games to get the data necessary to make an adequate gauge on this team. Exactly. We all feel this way. We all feel this way. I completely feel you on this. Carlos saying 100%. I need Yak barbecue dick. When are we going to see that soon, Lex? I hope maybe by the end of this year. Hopefully for 2025 for sure. It's just we need to be healthy. Knock on wood. For sure. We need to see that. That's right. The Stargate saying that smooth. That is why I was trying to say earlier and also last night in Spaces, a very dangerous game indeed. It can work out, yes. But if it doesn't, with all the other obstacles this team faces, it's tough. We just got to wish for the best. Once again, guys, we want to keep this car on the road and not in the ditch. So keep your eyes on the icy road in the middle of the road and not in the ditch. If we drive down the road straight, we won't go off the road into the ditch. So keep your eyes on the prize, stay positive, think optimistically, and wish and think the best outcomes for the Raptors, and they will come to fruition. When we write horror stories in our head, well, horror stories happen. And that is something we need to do with the power of perception. Let's write the right script in our own heads, and hopefully this will manifest in reality, is what I'm saying right now. That's a very powerful thing to do right now. Seriously, especially in this world the way it is right now. Very, very powerful. Stargate saying, in reference to the view that both the hockey-centric sports community and media in this country, as well as the xenophobic American fans and media in the league itself, tanking is a very dangerous tactic for this. Yeah, but, Masai was rewarded for it when he did it in Tampa. So in some ways, he's so gleeful about it. It's like Tampa was worth it because we got Scotty. So this may be what he's doing right now. He's doing this again right now, and it is a big risk. They're taking for so many different reasons. So whatever they're doing, it better work. Well, Masai has been that risk taker and has paid off. DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. That is just a huge one right there. And, well, we'll have to see if Masai once again is a genius, and we need to trust in Masai in the end, that even if it seems crazy what we're doing right now, it's all going to work out in the end because of something like Tampa for Scotty. That's what we got to hope. We got to hope, guys. We got to hope. Monique, thank you for the cutoff. I needed it so bad right now. And Race Mode saying, another Lexathon. Let's go. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Edmund. Happy holidays to you guys, too. I'm going to be going to the States tomorrow, guys, and I'll be doing some streams in Atlanta very soon. So, guys, tomorrow I'll do my Share the Love Club for Andrea Bagnani. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Saturday, Share the Love Club for El Mago. And then I'm going to hit Pearson, and I'm going to head down south for Christmas. So I'll be down there for 5 days. And so you'll be seeing me in a weird place because I'll be stateside. And I'm not totally thrilled about going to the States. I'm going to be honest. I'm not thrilled about getting an airport either. So, yeah, well, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. But, my streak will continue. If I'm going to go all the way to Estonia this summer and continue my streak of my streams, I will damn for sure be doing it down in Atlanta too. So, yeah, I'm going to Atlanta for Christmas tomorrow. And I'll be down there. Jill saying, thanks, Seymour. Cheers. And when saying, Lex, your response is acceptable. The product was awful last night. No executive is beyond reproach. Your sentiments are shared. There you go. Well, in some ways, some people say I'm too positive about the Raptors. Well, come watch my stream today. And you can see that Lex does have a limit to what he will take as far as things. And you know what? I appreciate that, Wayne, that, I love the Raptors so much. This is why I do this every morning. And, I just want them to do things correctly and get there in the right way. If Masai thinks this is the correct way to do it and he's going to do it this way, so be it. I have to trust in him. I just hope it all works out. Like you said, there is a big risk, Stargate. You're exactly right. There is a big, big risk. And I hope it'll come through. Yeah, and Smooth saying, don't forget that Tampa year was a 72-game road trip. Yeah. Listen, I mean, we could say this season's gamed against us by the schedule. And obviously the referee discrepancy on free throw totals with a minus 149 between us against other teams. Yeah, there's some forces at work right now. And, well, maybe we use them to our advantage. And Masai knows that. Maybe he knows that. Maybe that was part of the whole Tampa thing. The pandemic messed us up. We had to play all those road games. And the NBA loved it because, the Raptors were too good. They had won a championship. And even after the championship and Kawhi left, they're like, damn, the Raptors still aren't a horrible team. They're like the top team in the East still without Kawhi. We really got to sewer them somehow, some way. And okay, well, there's a lockdown. Let's get Pascal Siakam a Netflix subscription and let him just sit around the house the whole time and not work out the whole time during the pandemic lockdown. And all this other stuff happened, and boom, we end up being who we are. We go through the Tampa year, And then even after the Tampa year, we get in Scott, we look like we we're going to rise up and still be a power, but they're still not happy about that. They don't want us to be that. They don't want us to be that. So there's a lot of forces out there against us. And maybe besides, like, let's not fight against the forces. Let's go with them and use them to our advantage, and we'll just fucking be shitty, and we'll get a really high draft pick. And as Smooth is saying, we'll come back and be a 50-plus win team next year. Could be. Could be. All right, here's the classic card, guys. I don't know. This is a classic one. Let's see if anybody knows their old classic players. This is a weird one. This isn't the most exciting player in the history of BBA. But yeah, if anybody knows who this is, you go ahead and tell me right now. It's not the Sixers player. That is Ron Anderson, by the way, the Sixers player. I'm pretty sure that's Ron Anderson. And it's not, obviously, Steve Henson, number 12. So who is number 54, guys? Give me the first and last name. You get the classic card points for today. We'll end the stream right on the classic card there. Brad, okay, you misspelled it, Smooth, but you got it. It's Brad Lojas. Lojas. There is an H in there. Lojas. You just missed the H. You got it almost perfectly. Yeah, Brad Lojas was a journeyman, big man center, kind of backup center. Yeah, let's see. How far was he in his career then? He had been on the Celtics, the Kings, the Timberwolves, and the Bucks. Traveled around all over the place. Played for Iowa. I'm going to give you 150 points for this one, Smooth, because there is some skill in knowing who Brad Lojas is. That's for sure. All right, let's see. Brad Lojas. I'm just going to fix the spreadsheet for David so he knows what happened. Smooth, 150. Good job, Reggie. Continuing to add to your lead on the Raptor Freak trivia right now. Good stuff. All right, let me recap real quick. The Raptors lost a game that they should have won last night. They got outscored in the fourth quarter, 31-18. How the hell did that happen? My 3 stars of the game for the Raptors game, Ochai Agbaji, Kelly Olynyk, and Jamison Battle. The 905 lost also yesterday to the Rio Grande Valley Vipers in the Showcase Cup in Orlando. Tyreek Key was my star of the game. Kenny Chandler and Evan Gilliard, my other 2 stars of the game. It is what it is. It shall be what it shall be, and it is what it is. Happy birthday to Derek Dial, former Raptor Derek Dial. I don't know. You old school, you know who Derek Dial is. And also a happy birthday to Jonathan Castleberry, Kawhi's little mascot buddy that travels around with him, whatever team he's on. NBA champion with the Raptors. Jonathan Castleberry was a consultant to our coaching staff the year that Kawhi was here. So happy birthday to Jonathan, Raptor champion. I know that sounds weird when I say that. Totally sounds weird right there. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. I know I was feisty, angry. Yeah, and as Wayne said, rightfully so. You know, we'll take it as it is. Tomorrow we'll share the love, and hopefully brighter days are down the road. But yeah, I don't like this. If we're doing Tampa 2, Masai, I hate this so much. And in some ways, I need to get a win every once in a while just to have a breath, and can't stay underwater drowning for too long. And a 6-game losing streak is too long underwater. We need to go and get a W against a team that's very good in the near future, because then things will be better in Raptor Freak world. Just trust me on this. So, yeah, I hate to see this. I don't want to think that y'all are doing this on purpose. But there's a lot of evidence last night that seems like you are. So, anyway, I love the Raptors. That's the main important thing. I want y'all to be better and better as time comes. And we need more Larry O'Briens in Toronto down the road. Yeah, and I don't want that to sound like a joke. Seriously. I don't want that to sound like a joke. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. TGIF. Get out there and Raptorize your day. Touch grass. Please like, comment, share, and join the channel if you want to. Membership can have its privileges. I appreciate everybody. I know I'm feisty. I know I'm difficult. I'm not totally likable, and that's fine. It's just me. I'm going to do what I do, and that's that. All right. I appreciate everybody. Raptor Freak out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Saturday, Share the Love Club for Andrea Bargnani. So let's show some respect and appreciation for our first ever, only #1 pick in the NBA draft ever, Andrea Bargnani, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. I hope you'll join me.